hands are sweating. All right. Hi, operator. I'm Gabriel Mercier, codename N2. Since we'll be fighting side by side, allow me to properly introduce myself. As the codename suggests, my combat style leans towards cryogenic suppression. My frost launcher paired with a cryo flask can quickly force enemies into a frost state, ensuring they pose no threat to us. If enemy positions are unknown, the homing stun grenade can precisely mark them as well. Right now, I'm in the middle of a critical operation. One where failure is not an option. I hope this mission can make up for some of my past mistakes, even if just a little. Mission target zone, AZ3, Asara's only source of nuclear power. The plant's power output is spiking abnormally. This time, I won't let it happen again. An emergency shutdown is our only chance, but the risk is extreme. We not only have to breach Havoc's heavy defenses, we have to face lethal radiation head-on. Some containers within AZ3 have already been contaminated by radiation. You can follow distinctive sounds to locate them, but keep a close eye on your own radiation levels. Radiation is divided into 4 levels, each causing different effects. Accumulated radiation can be cleared by leaving the contaminated zone and using decon chambers or mobile decon units. During the incident, some personnel lost their access keys. We can use these keys to infiltrate the classified zones and gather intel and supplies.
Key verified. Access granted. AZ3 key detected.
That's not all. Severe leaks have occurred across multiple sections of the plant. You can choose to endure radiation exposure and enter these zones for high-value supplies and rare data, or stay clear. The choice is yours. Havoc has deployed a large number of purification soldiers at AZ3. Once your position is exposed, heavy purifiers will apply debuffs like corrosion and slow movement, but attacking the weak spot on their back can neutralize them quickly. An even tougher threat comes from the relink agents. H-1000 personally leads H-47, H-800, and other agents to guard the facility. All of them connected through Skynet. They're extremely persistent. Stay on maximum alert. One final thing. If we do manage to shut down all the nuclear facilities, something unexpected might happen.
Disabling attention. All AZ3 terminals disabled.
Of course, the nuclear plant has new collectibles too. Over in Warfare, things are heating up. The flames of war have reached the weathered stone walls of the Colosseum. This 1,000-year-old city is sliding toward ruination. We've got new weapons. The RM277 assault rifle excels at sustained suppressive fire, most effective from medium to long range. The SVCH marksman rifle is capable of taking down enemies in one shot at long range. There are also some bonus events coming up. Play Ole 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 to earn points and exchange them for sports-themed rewards and exclusive avatars. The Meltdown Season Pass includes various tactical supplies, including a new outfit for Tempest. The new season's Mandelbricks can yield the AKM Assault Rifle. Astromancy skin. Not bad. Opening Turbricks gives you a chance at the Law of Time series collectible charms. Good luck. A new melee weapon, Elegy, the exclusive weapon of the Abyss Shark Reese. Pretty cool. Oh, and don't forget, the Rainbow Six Siege crossover is launching soon too. 3 new operator skins. Black Ice weapon skins and special collectibles. Huh. Now that's something. Covers the main updates for the Meltdown season. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
Hi everyone, I'm William, the art director of Delta Force. As many of you may already seen, Delta Force is launching a collaboration with Rainbow Six Siege in our next season. Since launch, we've seen a lot of passion and discussion from our community around the tactical shooter gameplay. And whenever players talk about the genre, Rainbow Six Siege is one of the names that come up most often. So, we reach out to Ubisoft.
Bonjour, je suis Émilie Besson, directrice de la réalisation sur Rainbow Six Siege. Oui, Siege a toujours été défini par son gameplay tactique, le travail en équipe et aussi la variété des opérateurs que les joueurs ont appris à connaître et reconnaître au fil des années. Ces collaborations nous donnent l'occasion en fait d'amener les éléments emblématiques de Siege dans un nouvel univers tout en restant fidèle à ce qui les rend uniques.
In this collaboration, we focus on two things: operators and the Rainbow Six Siege's iconic visual legacy. We selected 3 operators pairings who share the same combat philosophy.
I'll be there you need me.
말보다는 행동이지.
Call if you need a hand.
For classic Siege elements, we choose to honor Black Ice, the Drone, and the Alpha Pack.
Ce qui était essentiel pour nous de préserver dans la collaboration, c'était l'identité, l'authenticité de nos personnages. C'est ce qui les rend uniques. On a travaillé main dans la main avec l'équipe de Delta Force pour s'assurer que l'authenticité de Siege, l'identité de Siege s'intègre naturellement dans leur jeu.
Both games share a realistic art direction, and finding distinct recognition within that shared aesthetic was actually the harder challenge. We started by preserving the core silhouette and the color framework of Siege operators. Doc and Motin's iconic deep navy uniforms, Vigil's signature custom-fitted gear, these stay true. At the same time, within the finer details, we evolve in Delta Force identity. They wear patches from both teams. Motin carries Cineva's badge. Doc has medical kits at his side. To faithfully recreate Black Ice, we focused our material work on internal ice fracture patterns to capture the distinctive texture and cold, austere feel of original.
Oui, en effet, Black Ice résonne énormément avec notre communauté. C'est une cosmétique d'armes qui a énormément plu à nos joueurs. Et l'équipe de Delta Force a fait vraiment un travail incroyable pour la recréation dans leur jeu de cette cosmétique, avec un souci du détail extrêmement gratifiant.
We employed a dual-layer material system combined with subsurface scattering lighting model. Using camera vectors and a depth texture to offset UV calculations, we achieved effect of refracture patterns appearing to exist deep inside ice.
Et ce qu'on a apprécié et ce qui nous a impressionné, c'est le travail de recherche de Delta Force. À quel point ils ont été soucieux du détail pour conserver nos opérateurs dans leur jeu, qui s'intègrent vraiment comme naturellement dans leur univers.
Beyond the content itself, we want as many players as possible to access and experience this collaboration. By completing in-game missions during the season, you can unlock these rewards for free. One more thing, in the new operations map, we've prepared something special for you. You will find a surprise in the maps that are meant just for you. Once the crossover goes live, go find them. Once more, onto the bridge.
Dear friends, once more.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
Received an emergency transmission from Hadawi, a Havoc nuclear engineer. Patching through.
This is AZ-3 facility. Reactor 2 has been sabotaged. Havoc internal forces can't handle this threat anymore. You're all I've got left.
Running blind on intel for the AO. But this region is at high risk of a nuclear incident. Keep the following in mind. Shoot, loot, then time to scoop.
The signal is clear. Take action.
It's okay here. Not too cold.
Experiment 66 is projected to conclude in T-minus 3 hours. All units submit safety risk assessments on schedule.
I've got a reading.
No hazmat suits? Raise them!
Let's make it quick.
Enjoy the bomb!
So eager to die. Excellent.
I don't know what's happening, but reactor output is still climbing. And security thinks I'm behind this. They're coming for me. GTI, move it, now!
Key verified. Access granted. Hostile signal detected. Lethal action authorized.
Damn it! Someone take control of this piece of junk!
Entering manual mode. Executing command.
Those bastards in fusion research won't authorize shutdown because of their experiment timeline. I know better than anyone how important this research is. Hold this position. Once I finish calibration, use that console to insert the control rods immediately. Data set. Follow me. I know somewhere the signal can get through.
Steam explosion at reactor 2. Incident level confirmed. Estimated contamination radius.
Careful! Don't fall! We're outside the signal blackout zone. Upload the data package to Skynet immediately. Encryption keys in the archive. Just send it!
Critical alert. Reactor power output has critically exceeded safety threshold. Core meltdown imminent. All personnel evacuate immediately. Priority alert. Hydrogen explosion at reactor 2. Incident level confirmed. INDS scale 7. Major accident. All personnel evacuate beyond contamination zone immediately. Estimated spread radius 3.7 kilometers. Correction, 9.2 kilometers. Correction, 24.9 kilometers. Correction, 45.3 kilometers. Correction, 79.8 kilometers.
Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules. Search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight. Not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag one high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question, keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead. Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then, gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in. Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a Mandelbrick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now? Stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
The enemy got the Mandelbrick. Find it. Stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first Mandelbrick of the tournament. They're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. When you get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. So much damage, and there it is.
What's up, everyone? We are into week 4 of the group series here in the Delta Force Rise Season 1. Y'all, it's EMEA. I'm SpiderTip. I'm gonna be hosting and commentating alongside my guy, Ben. Ben, we had so much fun yesterday. I'm so happy to have you back.
Yeah, thanks, Tiff. Great to be here. Crazy day yesterday. Huge result for MBO, throwing themselves up the leaderboard with that double Mandelbrick win. And today we've got groups A and D with their final games of the group stages.
It's kind of scary because we were talking about it yesterday and you were like, ooh, when your final day to perform is the day before the last day that you could officially, you're sitting back and watching everyone play tomorrow, hoping that you have done enough to either qualify directly to the Delta Force finals next week or you get into that survival series. It's going to be insane on that stage. And honestly, next week is going to be cracked, but we've got to get there first. So welcome everyone here in chat. If you're locked in, ready for a crazy day on EMEA, let's go ahead and show you what you may have missed if you weren't here yesterday. We have some really cool highlights from our last match day.
Yeah, we'll bide their time on that one there.
He's got the motorized skeleton going, and the 2 come in. He gets a knock on to 1. Can he get the other through the triple blaster? Oh, he's gonna jump on him. He's jumping on him, and we're bouncing around. And Uzbishka gets aggressive and puts him down. But here comes NBO. Oh, and Gotaga headbutting each other up into the north. For now, still plenty of chaos. AGT stabilizing with 2. Chuba still down, and Nast 1 HP throwing it down, trying to heal.
Yeah, AGT dropped, but that is D gone as another team comes to party. I can't believe we're seeing the prison fight going off here. That's AGARTHA wiped, and it's 1 by 1. Our teams are falling. There's Tempest. I'm not sure they actually had their ropes down at the moment, though. And Maxa somehow still alive.
Oh my gosh, and it's NBO. Your team of 3. Dark Entities back up to a team of 3. You can see their squad points trading hands with their total score, and it's Maxa being the thorn in the side for anyone Dark Entities going to do.
Yeah, they grabbed that, but that's a huge knock on Fleric, and that is not on a Tempest. D down to 1 at the moment.
Is phenomenal out of them. But 40 seconds on the clock to make it happen, and Uzbishka goes for the push. Uzbishka gets found out, and number 1 get it.
That's it, I think, boys.
And number one, we're the last team standing there on that crazy Space City map. As we pull up the leaderboard from yesterday, Ben, so many takeaways to get to this final leaderboard for Group A and C yesterday.
A huge battle between number one and DE, especially yesterday. Great results for both of them, really. DE, they're fighting to try and get into the top 2 right now. And number one, they were fighting in that relegation zone. And them getting that huge result yesterday, that's put huge pressure on today's team. We got LFS, FPOV, and Fnatic all playing today. And with one less team for them to try and battle against, that's going to be hard work.
It truly is, but every team out there on that last Space City map trying to grab themselves a Mandelbrick and to take it to one more game. But if you've been following us through Season 1 over here of the Delta Force Rise series, you can see we are in the final countdown, match day 11 in the group stage A and D. Like you mentioned, Ben, tomorrow you will be seeing groups B and C's last match day performance before we get into that survivor stage. And of course, that's going to be really interesting because day one, people are going to duke it out. And if you find yourself on the lower side of teams qualified, we'll break that down when we pull up the overall leaderboard. You basically will realize that you only get one chance to try and qualify for those finals. But of course, some of our player rankings, the tournament top killers, Ben. Nox got back on top from Gotaga there.
Yeah, Nox has been sitting at the top of this for most of the event, really, just by 1 kill at the moment, ahead of Fnatic's Jame, and then SkyT in 3rd place with 35. We're going to see SkyT, Jame, and Nox all out today, right? So we've got the top 3 killers are playing, which is great to see. And you can see also on the right, you know, everyone's been getting a ton of kills this tournament, so it is actually, you know, quite tight between them all.
Same when you come over to the damage, right? Except it's Yuzbishka. He was sitting around just under 10k yesterday, so puts up at least 2,300-ish damage to get back to the top of the leaderboard where he has belonged, and for good reason. In that highlight package, Ben, when he gets absolutely sieged by multiple teams just like running him down, ooh, that was scary.
He's been an absolute beast the whole tournament, just seems to be able to farm damage. And once again, we've got 3 players from the top 3 all playing today. So that's going to be really interesting to see. Even the top 4 there as well with Stickinson from LFS. And there, of course, is our top assets. Pretty tight there. You start to see, you know, a link between the kills and the assets because you get so much money for killing players in this tournament. But we'll cover that in a little bit. And again, SkyT's going to be here. Looking forward to see SkyT play, Tiff. He's been very strong, particularly a couple of games ago. They had a huge day.
It is so exciting for me to be able to witness Mandelbrick Addiction because I think all the way back to like the Delta Force Global League and some of the show matches that we had going on over the past year and a half, 2 years. It's been so sick because I remember that name. I'm so excited to be on the EMEA side this weekend and to get to witness them. But of course, this is our overall leaderboard, what we're competing for here today, especially if you are in groups A and D, last performance day. So keep your eyes over on that 11th and 12th spot. These are the 2 teams that are facing relegation, will not be qualifying into that survivor stage if they end up here. So with Fnatic, FLOORPOV, and Living for Success there, kind of hanging out around the same score line, except for LFS is just 7 points behind that 11th place slot. We're needing standout performance. Like LFS has to go flawless. We need to see a double brick on today's performance, 10 points on the board, and then essentially you're preying on the downfall of Fnatic and FLOORPOV.
It's pretty much the only way LFS can survive this, right, is by getting the 10-point win, maybe a 9, and they also need to hope that FPOV and Fnatic basically come bottom 2. So it's a very tall order for LFS. Closer fight between FPOV and Fnatic. If one of those 2 teams can have a really good day today and throw themselves up above, you know, AGARTHA and FLC, that's going to give them a good chance. And then flip it over to the other side, we've got DE and NBA playing today. So they're over on the side here. 2nd and 3rd, they're going to be battling to get into the top 2. And even Gotaga, they're sort of dropped away from the top 2. But if they get 10 points, that could put them in 2nd, depending on, you know, tiebreakers. So they have a very slim chance still of getting for top 2. They've got to play for it. You know, they've got that ability.
Yeah, everyone has something to play for. You've got to lay it all on the line. The last day of our group series is officially here for A and D. So as we kind of keep thinking about how this is going to work, chat, if you're new here, which the majority of you are ride or dies for EMEA and our organizations that are going to be competing here today and our players. But let's go ahead, let's kick it to a video that kind of explains the whole shebang.
Delta Force, One game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandelbricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandelbricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get 1 more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, 1 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
Love that comprehensive breakdown there from the video. And the big highlight at the end of that is the top 3 from the finals get there locked in for Season 2. We'll chat more about Season 2 later, but for now, all about what's going to be happening here today. Tournament rules. You know it, you love it. 1.5 million technical alloy each player to kick things off. If you die, you lose your gear. Teams ranked by Mandelbricks captured. Your goal is to get 2. That will end the tournament. Likely going to see win condition in game number 4. Of course, the games are going to be played on that season echo patch. We are 1 season behind. All good things there. In terms of our 7-game series, rounds 1 and 3 are going to be airdrop only. Those will occur on Zero Dam and Tide Prison. Round 2 is going to kick off our whole thing with the Mandelbrick and airdrop over on Brakkesh. And then, of course, we have our Space City marathons from round 4 through 6 with Mandelbrick only. If things get crazy, and we go to that game 7, Ben, that's actually my favorite thing. The team in last place is going to get to pick if they'd rather play Brakkesh or Space City. Now, I would think that people would just want to run it back to Space City, but the last time we had a game 7 over in the Americas, they went back to Brakkesh.
Yeah, same here. When we saw our round 7, they also took it to Brakkesh as well. So yeah, we shall see if we'll get there. Only game 5 yesterday. Also worth noting that your operators, you can only use each operator twice, and that's per team. That's not individually. So once you've used Stinger twice, throughout those games, you won't be able to use him anymore. But all operators will reset for game 7 if we get there.
Ooh, if we do, I don't know. Time will tell. I'm thinking game 5. We had a game 5 yesterday for Friday. Who knows what's going to happen? Of course, for our starting supply for the tournament, you're going to get that 1.5 mil Technic Alloy. We mentioned that the 3x3 Ultimate Safe Box was all fun in games until you get some of those larger reds and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? I can't fit this in my safe box. You've got to be efficient with how you organize everything. You're going to be able to bring in that 12 slot card holder. You can pretty much unlock any room across the maps. You'll feel pretty confident about that. Your resources in terms of that, you have that fixed supply ultimate save box plus 0.7 mil, 800k per elim. You saw the top asset earners of our players ranked on the EMEA region. A majority of them are at the top of the kills, and this is exactly why.
Yeah, and that 800k is why you see our players going for kills so much over extracting, because it's a huge amount of value. And of course, you're going to decode Mandelbricks, and you also get a little bit extra assets if you've come finished last. You get a little bit of a bonus to that. And then we've got our Mandelbrick decode. So this is going to become available just after the match starts. It's going to be a short pause when we get into game 2, see our first Mandelbrick. Once the squad has picked up the Mandelbrick, then they're going to have 5 minutes to place it into a decode station. If they don't during that time, it'll just reset back to where it's found. So you can't run away and hide with it. And once that Mandelbrick's been placed into the decode station, it can't be removed anymore. 4-minute timer starts on that. And then the decoding interrupt timer is 2.5 seconds. If the Mandelbrick decoding does get interrupted, then that timer is going to reset, but it's also reduced by 30 seconds each time it's interrupted, down to a minimum of 90 seconds. And if the squad who's decoding gets eliminated during that process, then the countdown will pause. You can't claim a brick if your team's been wiped. So we see that happen quite a lot as an effective strategy, don't we?
We truly do, and it's really important to see. We'll talk about it later, but if you guys didn't go watch game number 5 yesterday on Space City, it was absolutely disgusting.
Wild.
Ben ran after the broadcast and was like, I'm VOD reviewing this all day. But of course, you got to get your points. You got to get your Mandelbricks, and you have to get your points. Our point scoring system is as follows. Of course, the first place is going to be 8 points on the day. If you get 2 bricks on that, you get a point for each Mandelbrick. Therefore, a first place with 2 bricks equals 10 points. So when you saw the group standings earlier where it currently lies, think about LFS and how they need that 10 points and 2 bricks in order to have maybe a tiebreaker, or maybe you get 1 Mandelbrick. We also look at our squad points, and they're kind of explained by the fact that you have 2 components. You have your kill points and your supply points, and we're going to take those, add them up, and that's going to give you your squad points. Each kill is 1 point, and your supply points are a little bit different, right? 1.9 million isn't actually going to get you any supply points. Once you hit 2 million though, that's when you will get 1 point. And every 2 million, so 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, those are the thresholds to get yourself those supply points.
Yeah, and this is our prize pool, not for today, but for the grand final, which is going to be happening next weekend. First place team is going to walk away with $60,000, and you can see the money running down all the way to 12th place there for that final weekend. The MVP themselves is going to claim a nice little bonus of $3,000, and the dynamic kill bonus, $50 in the bag for every kill our players pick up today, which has been something I can see they've been fighting for.
They're just boosting their pockets, all right? That's all they doing right now. Of course, our participating teams in the Delta Force Rise Series for Season 1 in EMEA is as follows. You do have Groups A and D playing here today. It's August 1st, Match Day 11. Tomorrow, you're going to have Match 12 with Groups B and C, and that will be the last day of our regular season group stage. So then week 5, that's where we were talking about the survivor matches that are going to be occurring. Friday will be survivor match 1, Saturday survivor match 2, and then Sunday will be those finals in which everyone is competing for the cash. And Dark Entities, Ben, has been one of the teams that has been the most consistent.
Yeah, they've been very consistent throughout. They had a bit of a poor first day out, but since that, they've been pretty much second and first, I think, every day they've played. Getting a lot of kills. They played well yesterday. As Bishka, we talked about earlier, getting huge amounts of damage. He's up there with 32 kills at the moment. Folarate is up there with 31. I think there was a game yesterday where Folarate got 6 kills, I'm pretty sure. They had a 8-kill game on Space City, so massive, and Floric also performing well for DE as well. This is LFS. They're sitting down at the bottom of the table at the moment. They'll be disappointed with that. They've been fragging. They've been picking up kills. I think Stickinson is sitting in the top 5 for kills so far in the event, but they've just not been able to get those wins. They got their hands on the Mandelbrick a few times yesterday. It was even Imperator and Stick, but they couldn't get the Mandelbrick, and they walked away, I think, with 0 points in the end yesterday again. So huge task ahead for LFS today.
Hey, we saw number 1 pop off yesterday when they needed it most. Gotaga they were in the mix constantly. We'll start off with Vladid, right? You think about when they were taking a lot of these engagements, working together, but Maxa often found himself alone. Think to that Space City game 5, where he was constantly a solo, but still ripping the Mandelbrick decode away from everyone. And of course, Nox being at the very top of our player rankings in terms of kills, but that's going to be your Group A teams, Dark Entities, Gotaga, and LFS. LFS in a must perform to perfection day here today. For Group D, though, FLOORPOV can get things off.
Yeah, FLOORPov, another team that need to perform well today. We've got Yersai here, and the guys, again, they've been playing relatively well in terms of their fragging over the event, but their points are a little low. They've got a bit of a buffer down to LFS below them, so it's kind of more between, they're going to be looking up at Fnatic, sitting above them, and some of the teams higher up. Again, if they can get a good result today, that is going to get them secure. We've seen Yersai, Obsess, and Blake have been the team that's been running, over the course of the games we've seen so far in this event. Then FNC, Fnatic, this is Bane, Jame, and Raid Ball. These guys also have been one of the teams that have been getting the most kills with maybe the least return they'd hoped for in terms of points. So again, a team that needs to convert those kills to bricks. I think we were seeing James sitting really high up. Yeah, he had 40 kills. So he was saying, I believe that'd be second place, 4 kills in the tournament. And then talking of kills, these guys have been getting a whole bunch recently, especially Skyty. Like you're saying, Tiff, these guys are old school, right?
They totally are, and that's okay. You've got the competitive history, you've worked together, and you know what it takes to perform to the top of your abilities. Now, when you think about the group series and qualifying into the survival stage, they are already situated pretty high, right? So nothing too crazy to worry about. It's all about just kind of practicing before you get to next week so you can do your best in the finals for Group D. But like you said, Fnatic is there kind of on the cusp, potentially facing relegation if they kind of fall off today. But of course, everything starts here on that round 1-0 dam. It'll be an airdrop round. A lot of teams just looking to boost their cash up. And then of course, we'll go into the Brakkesh, Tide Prison, the Space City Marathon, and who knows if we'll see Game 7. For operator picks, everything's on the table. So let's go ahead and look at our most popular operators for that initial round in Zero Dam. Shepherd, Raptor, Blender. I think yesterday we had a Rogue Nox because they didn't really want to pull them all out and double round it on Tide Prison. But for now, Raptor, his kit, so imperative for Zero Dam and finding information. D-Wolf for the aggressive assault that you're going to need for those fights. And of course, information then.
Yep, Raptor, very popular for Zero Dam. I think was it Gotaga maybe yesterday who decided to bring out Luna? They decided to use up their Lunas and then prioritize Raptor for Space City, right? So that's, slightly unusual, maybe against the meta you normally see with operator choice on Zero Dam. So yeah, interesting to see if there's any other shifts to that. As we talked about, this is the eco round, or one of the eco rounds. Teams going to be looking to acquire resources, but also really the priority is just getting a few squad points on the board, and they can do that either with some kills or extracting some loot. And we saw Gotaga do that yesterday, right? They got 3 kills really early and then said, see you later, and they just went out through paid extract very early.
We were always talking about how Zero Dam, the fights usually break out a little bit later, but for our teams, it is their last day here in the group series. And as you check in with everyone, James there, just kind of, I don't know. It's like this feeling that it's one where you're seeing everyone just kind of settling in, getting their mindset ready. Honestly, Buldo, that couch bed thing behind you looks so comfortable. I just want to get a good book and a blanket, but enough about that, guys. I digress. What I'm going to do instead is give you guys a giveaway because that's much cooler to hear about, right? So before we jump into round 1 on Zero Dam, we're going to hit you guys with a quick giveaway. A redeemable code is going to appear on your screen for the Nekomimi spray paint. Be quick, though. We told you, so many numbers of activations. Well, this one's limited, okay? So once they're gone, they're gone. Good luck. We got 35 chances, 35 redeems on that bad boy. And it's so cute, Ben. Every time I see it, I just want to hit the pose.
That's what we're doing behind the cameras when they're not on. You guys just can't see it.
It's true.
Yeah, Gotaga,
It'd be crazy if you could.
I can see they're getting ready to come. Our teams are selecting our lineups. They're picking their gear, and they are getting ready to come in. We're about to jump into round 1, the final games of, like Tiff said, of the group stages for these two teams. It's going to be Zero Dam. See who gets those priority admin spawns. We're about to find out, and hopefully we're going to see some chaos around the extract points this time.
Give me chaos, because we had so many teams electing to get out and extract early. You called out Gotaga for doing that. They took one fight against AGARTHA over in visitor centers and dipped out on that southern extract. You had Genius pull the lever, try to hit the elevator extract in the north, and you know what? They dipped out because no one was challenging them. But here is Dark Entities on your screen vying for that top 2 on the day. And as you look around, Admin Center, we're going straight in DE and FPOV with tier 1 spawns.
Yep, Floor, POV, and Dark Entities, they're going to be controlling the admin building for now. They've moved in there, got rid of Saeed without any troubles. You can see Gotaga, they're down near Paid Extract, which they enjoyed using to great effect yesterday. NBA just over to the east of them. Fnatic, they're over in Cement Plant. And then LFS moving in through the barracks here. So, let's wait and see what approach our teams take. I can see Gotaga, they've again gone for that Luna choice. They're the only team without a Raptor there. NBA, they've got a double D-Wolf Raptor. Is interesting to see. A whole bunch of smokes for those guys and a whole bunch of grenades. As you can see, all the armor choices, blue bullets and purple armor. There's not really much other choice you can run, to be honest, on first map, is there?
No, it's pretty much what you're locked in with. I kind of do like the double D-Wolf. I feel like they're just going to go straight running at people, utilize their Raptor on the hands of Bulldo just to find that information, and you just run in, pop an ult, throw a triple blaster to kind of section it off and gun them down. That's the kind of level that I'm looking for. Now, granted, we're not going to see that level of action break out more than likely until like the last 5 to 3 minutes or so. Yesterday was definitely an enigma of a zero dam experience for me, though.
It was, one of the strangest zero dams I think I've seen, certainly in this tournament. Like we talked about a minute ago, we had that situation where Gotaga, they got a wipe on AGARTHA. That was actually up in the visitor center very early. There's not even any teams anywhere near visitor now this game, so it shows you how unusual the Vizzy fights are. They got that wipe and then basically walked over and took Paid Extracts about halfway through the round. And then we had, I think it was Jen, ended up going and pulled the lever and just extracted without anyone pushing them and with 0 kills. And bizarre game, wasn't it?
It truly was, because we were talking about that extract of how people will activate that Southern Paid Extract to kind of deny other teams to do it. And we're like, there's no way that they're going to essentially take this extract. No, they do, but don't worry. Gotaga hits a safe. You can see Maxa there on the south side of Major Substation. Picks up some reds. Starting to kind of get their profits up just under 1 million. DE and Fnatic both have surpassed that by just being like 1.2, 1.3, but a relatively conservative start. When you think about where that airdrop is going to be landing, we'll find out in about 30 seconds or so. And of course, that's either going to be the M82 or the AWM. And we'll see if you get some value out of it.
No value gained really from the AWM yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was LFS that grabbed it, and then they didn't leave the map with it. They decided to stay on and try and take some fights, but they got 1 kill. I don't think it was even with the AWM. So, yeah, it was definitely wasted in yesterday's Zero Down. We didn't really see it make much of an appearance throughout most of the games yesterday, as Wallbreaker has been triggered by LFS. Again, didn't see this go down in yesterday's game, but might happen now. The team's got it done early. If you get this done late, it's kind of hard to get in there, but they might have just about got away with it here.
Well, okay, you're saying, I see you. We just like biding our time, kind of getting into it. Maybe stretching out the neck a little bit. Oh, God, make sure you guys stretch. Make sure you drink water because it's going to be a crazy day. 1 minute on that airdrop is going to be landing just to the north of that Paid Extract in the south. So when you think about teams that are going to have close proximity to it, I'm looking at Fnatic and Gotaga that are both putting out feelers as we show y'all on the map. And elsewhere, LFS have made contact on the south side of admin. Take some damage with DE, has 1 member fallen. The fights are breaking out early. Give me more.
Yeah, this is pretty early. This is LFS trying to move through towards Wallbreaker there. They got the knock on Bishka. It might have been through the bathroom window, I'm pretty sure, possibly on the balcony. So they have got that res pretty safely, but they are getting pushed now. This is FPV. They heard that action. They're coming to look. They want to take advantage. Fleric is still healing up here on low health, so we'll have damaged armor, I'm sure, as well to repair from that. And that's pushed them back, D, into a little tight spot here, maybe giving LFS chance to go in towards Wallbreaker, or maybe they're prying this fight. And this is maybe another fight here.
All right, well, Fnatic is going to jump onto that airdrop. Now, mind you, Gotaga is there on the horizon and could take shots at Fnatic if they're so inclined, but smoke's down for now. See them looting the ammo, getting the weapon in their hands, and let it rip.
It's hard to tell if Fnatic were, I think they must have been aware, but there's a little bit of a distance. They might not quite realize Gotaga was there, but they have now dipped back into safety, I'm pretty sure, with that Orm. They're going to head underground to try and secure that and decide whether they're going to use it lose it or take it off the map. This is NBA now with LFS creeping up.
Oh, good shots on to Stickinson. You can see even there, the triple blaster to go alongside it. Now, mind you, they know they want to get aggressive with the double D Wolf comp. For LFS, our priority is getting Stickinson back off the ground and not allowing them to cross that gap into the open.
It's a really tough spot to dig yourself out of there with the knock. Should be okay getting the res because there's that container you can go inside to dodge a bit of the utility, but you don't want to be getting bogged down in that little hole in the containers for very long because you're just going to get stuck. And there's going to be, as you can see, teams watching from the windows. You got NBA, you're fighting on the dam side. They have got full contingent up, but yeah, bit of a tight spot there as Obsess watches on from above.
Good smoke and cross here from NBA. Just kind of want to unite alongside each other and get themselves into this building. Take a couple of angles elsewhere. Dark entities. LFS have moved up towards the north, and that's okay. They're like, we're not going to fight out here in the open. And I believe Fnatic is still working their way onto the underground. Probably going to pop out. FPOV still keeping an eye on LFS, though.
I'm curious to see how the basement fight works out. They did get heard on the way up by DE. And D sending everything over. This was Fnatic trying to creep up with the Orm. Now they know they're there. That's going to be a tough push. But D have actually decided to sort of rotate right round out of that and find some awful little angles there to peek. But they're going to keep moving as we saw, I think it was, yeah, LFS there. We saw a minute ago. They were making their way towards Wallbreaker. Is worth doing for those that don't know. You can actually acquire these lucky wooden sculptures by going down there. They're unique to the esports environment, and they, even though they only show worth 1, they actually allow you to buy some really good gold kits. They're kind of like a freebie token for getting some great gear later on, right?
It would be really nice, especially when we get to Space City and when we start seeing some people break out the golds. For now, Gotaga hitting a copy paste of yesterday, right?
Don't do it, boys.
Down
Don't go.
here.
Don't go.
Do we leave? Like,
yeah, hopefully,
get in there.
Hopefully a little early for Gotaga to go. They haven't got the kills yet, so yeah. But they'll just be presumably just banking that one and go and see what else they can do. But maybe they're ready to check out. These are those wooden sculptures we were just talking about. Even here. See if they get anything nice from the safes.
I'm waiting. I will say the airdrop that is going to be dropping in just under 30 seconds is right on the face of Gotaga on that extract. So do we think that Gotaga grabs the high value items that come out of there, hopefully grab some reds, and then maybe just take an early exit onto Zero Dam? I think the value they could get from getting into these engagements up in admin would be worth it, though.
Yeah, it's got to be much more valuable for them to take some kills, even if you get lucky in those drops. They might get themselves up to maybe 2 mil if they're really lucky, and that's going to get them 1 point, 1 squad point. So yeah, they need to get up there and get some kills. There's no real benefit to them just extracting. They're all little single slots here, so I'm not imagining we'll see anything too crazy. A watch, it's a couple of 100k, oximeter, solid fuel, and another watch. So, but yeah, they're not even at 1 point yet with 1.3 mil.
That's very interesting. Okay, well, at least they are getting a red out of it and not just solid golds, in which we had yesterday. For NBA, they're up here. They've all kind of separated out, holding different angles. And I do like what we're seeing. Back to LFS, though, just constantly perusing the safe. You saw the lucky wood and sculptures that came through, but hopefully, even just out here, can break a mill, hopefully.
And that is music that every Delta Force player knows very, very well. I hear that in my sleep sometimes. This is NBA. They came over to this car park position really early on and they've just been chilling here. They did rotate round, didn't they? Because that was Uvalier that picked up that knock on LFS a little while ago in containers and then crossed back over. So they're just hanging here. It's a good spot to have, if you want to fight over the elevator extract, right? If teams decide to pull that and go for it, you're in a good spot to move in there quickly to try and shoot teams that are crossing. So presumably that's what NBA are thinking here. They want to get some kills. But no kills yet, right? Everyone up, still remaining in the lobby.
Okay. And Folaray just scouting everyone looking for maybe some off picks they can grab that would be simple. A lot of things that we hear our players talk about is taking smart engagements, especially this late in our group stage. You don't want to like kind of scam, basically overextend, push out, get caught, and then realize, hey, my teammates can't get me back up. And now I'm forcing my teams to play as a duo. Very unfortunate. We're just looking for those engagements in which we can skew the favor in our direction.
Gotaga here going on a right old adventure, trying to find presumably some other teams, but I think they're going to have to venture a bit further if they want to do that. They're going to have to get up near admin because that's where basically every other team on the map is right now. FPOV, they're still in this area of the admin. We saw them push across to try and attack DE. Didn't really happen in the end, and they have just set up shop here. Here we are with Obsessed. We've got a few minutes for the elevator to get pulled still. That's a 3-minute timer, I believe. So 6.5 minutes on the clock at the moment before someone decides to pull that. And then normally on cue for Zero Dam, Chaos ensues. But James here, he's going to peek. Oh, the bird blocked it though.
Do it. Honestly, James, don't do it. Like, if you only knew. Like, you're even trying to be so stealthy about it. No, though that IOQ is going to give you up. You see the bullets, and then Obsessed is just going to back away. Not Obsessed isn't back away. He's locked, but the Fnatic's backing away.
Yeah, had that covered. The good bit of scouting from the Raptor there to see what was going on, but they decided to not peek that in the end, as we see the Raptor ult being used on Folorate here from D. You can actually see that Folorate's got a gold vest on. That would have been presumably picked up from Saeed from the boss, or maybe a lucky pull from a crate or a special bot, a shield bot perhaps. But nice little find that might help him out, as we see that was Gotaga. Now they're over near camp. I thought they were going to go up over the high road, but they're still moving in very cautiously here. They biding their time, but they are just about moving in the right direction.
Kind of. We'll get there eventually if we just carry on to the northwestern side of things. But back to Fnatic out here scouting. And that's respectable, right? Because we literally, if you had Jame push out there, would have been an absolute bloodbath. And not in a good way for Fnatic. But you keep an eye on Dark Entities. What they are good at is holding these angles. Patience. And there it is. Makes contact and immediately blacks away for Fleric. And I'm Fnatic. I'm saying, you know, probably not the best angle for me yet again.
Yeah, they've got to pick one side to get out of this basement at some point. As we have a little listening to our team comms here.
Je pense. Venez, on peut prendre l'espace.
En bas?
Je vais mettre un ult. Juste pour les faire clear.
Ok, je suis pas encore là.
Je pense qu'il va me le break.
Oui. Faut juste qu'on prenne à droite, ouais. T'as personne sur toi, James, sûr? Full jump.
Salut.
You get a translation on that, Tiff?
Nope, I ain't got nothing. All I know is, you know what they need? To take that one shot, let it rip, hold an angle. They're honestly just looking for a way to get out, find a peak. There's not a direct translation, guys. That's just my assumption.
So 4 minutes, or just under 4 minutes on the clock here. Gotaga have found their way over. It kind of showed the difference when you don't have the Raptor on the team for this map, right? Because Gotaga only had the Luna. It was so much harder for them to scout those big open areas out there. They were doing it very slowly and methodically. They have the Luna Arrow, but it's not as effective as the Raptor Bird. You can just send way up in the sky and see what's going on. You can see all of our teams on the map there. If anyone's going to pull the lever, it's going to be FPOV. They're not seeing on it at the moment, but they've only got 20 seconds to do it. If they even decide to do it. I mean, and don't necessarily have to do it, but it does kind of funnel people a little bit, as we see Vladid here from Gotaga. They've moved over, and they're very close to DE, who are now actually in the car park. NBA have crossed right over to the other side of the map now.
Interesting. No fights have actually broken out just yet, and that's okay. We've had a couple of pokes and prods throughout the way, but no full-blown team wipes as of yet for NBA as they make their way towards the west. LFS tracking them down, but there you go with Imperador taking the brunt of the damage. You've got to be careful. Can't stay out too far in the open. Uvalier's got a nasty little angle here.
Yeah, we saw NBA kind of sneaking up through the bushes there to try and get behind LFS here. And it's going to be a fight. We're going to see these guys take this to the end, I think. First drop is even from LFS. That's Uvalier getting the first knock there. So 2v1 now in NBA's favor. They get the full finish there as well. So that is going to be a point on the board for Mandelbrick Addiction. Their double D-Wolf Raptor combo. And that's going to be tough for Stickinson and Imperator to deal with here. Baldo on low health, though, with the Raptor.
See him kind of building back up on the health side of things. Elsewhere, Dark Entities and Gotaga are collapsing on each other, and Dark Entities wipe Gotaga, who do not decide to extract and still carve their way back up to find some fights fall at Dark Entities for LFS. You can see Imperator trying to close the gap towards NBA, but a swing could bring you out to face 3 members. And honestly, they're challenging it all day. LFS in trouble, LFS out.
Yeah, great work from NBA and DE. They're both picking up 3 kills apiece very quickly and efficiently as well. They didn't give much time for other teams to come in and third party that, which is absolutely critical. So a clean bit of point acquisition for those teams, and very important for them as well. You know, DE and NBA today, they're our 2 teams that are really fighting for those top 2 places. So that is going to be very valuable for them.
That's also true. Fnatic's still here as well, which is great considering they are just 1 above that threshold. With some util coming in, you know this fight against FPOV could be dangerous. Dark Entities fresh off the fight with Gotaga could third party this as well once they hear some things break out. Instead, FLOORPOV thumbed up and has to carry on. Please do it. No!
Well, they know the orb is there now. They've given that one away, and it's going to stay on this map because no one's going to be extracting from this game as we see DE come together with Fnatic again, and maybe expect FLOORPOV to get involved in this. We've got a bit of a 3-way battle going on. This is Fola right here on the stairs. Keep an eye out for Bane. We might see a couple of players leave, actually. Looks like someone from DE moving up towards the way extract. But this is Yersai from FPOV. They're getting involved, firing the Byron ult in there and moving in. Does drop down. Good hits on Blake, but Yersai and Hand Obsessed dropped by Fnatic. They have lost 2 very quickly. Just the Raptor left now.
And the recovery is needed. I'm looking at Raid Bull. Low HP, and DE is going to capitalize on this. Full send straight in. We lose out on Uzbishka, who does go ahead and extract. We do see 1 from NBA extract as well. I believe that was Uvalier. And then we just start to see the reactions. Little smile there from Fleric.
Really interested to see DE's kills here, because obviously they got the 3 on Gotaga early on, but that was great work considering they had already sent Uzbishka, was it, that went out to extract. So they actually only had 2 players in that fight in admin. They were outnumbered by both the other teams there. Still decided to take it. It looked like they were picking up some kills right at the end as the match finished there. So there's potential they managed to maybe get up to 4 or 5, I would say, depending on if they got confirmation. So it looked like a pretty solid game from DE and NBA.
Okay, 7 kills from Dark Entities. I know you were asking for the number, and I honestly wasn't expecting 7, but 7 is a great start. 1.4 mil asset gained. That's a good start on Zero Dam.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you think that, you know, many of our matches we've seen in the event, you might see the winning teams finish, the high-scoring teams finish with maybe 25 to 30 something sort of squad points. They've already got 7 from game 1 is a great result. NBA picking up 3, all 7 kills for Fola there as well. Can we just take a minute to acknowledge that? That's the most I've seen from a single player in a match so far in this event. Great work from Fola. He got tons yesterday as well, right? He's absolutely flying up the tables. Fnatic grabbing 2, FPOV grabbing 1, Gotaga and LFS grabbing 0 each there.
Not good for Gotaga and LFS there, but of course we'll look at our round 1 top killers. To no one's surprise here, it's Folare at the top, and just in such a dominant fashion that 2nd and 3rd place each have 1 kill. So there's a bit of a stark differential here.
Maybe, excuse me, not surprised to see top damage there as well for Folare, but good effort from Uvalier and Blake picking up a bit, but not sure they picked up any kills, maybe 1 for FPOV, but huge display from DE. That's the perfect game really on Zero Dam. Just get in there, get yourself a bunch of kills, get some squad points on the board, and you know you're going to walk away from that happy.
I'm happy just getting to witness that kind of stuff. For our top asset earners, you do have Uvalier out there with 1.2 million, DE Zubishka 79 6K. Here's the deal. Those 2 players both extracted, so they are going to be at the top for our round 1 winners MVP of Zero Dam. Folare. My man got 7 kills. Almost 1K damage. Some nice assets and a brilliant performance there. But guys, here's the deal. If you're loving what you're seeing from Season 1 on Delta Force Rise series, what are we talking? We're going to start talking about Series 2, right? Season 2 open quals. Registration opens August 10th. All the information down below. Don't miss your chance to compete if you're one of those people that are sitting there, keyboard warring it out, saying, I can do this. I want to get my team together and compete at the highest stage Delta Force has to offer. Well, then let's see you do it. Let's see you do it. Maybe Ben will make a team too. You never know.
Oh, I'm far too old for that. I'm just going to sit here and talk about it, and then I don't have to play. Right, we're going to be back with game number 2, Brakkesh, our first Mandelbrick, after this very short break.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So, hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And the other just got him, they're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts! The last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the Mandelbricks. Find and stop them. Mandelbricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That knocked them off their feet.
There we go. Damage, and there it is.
And we're back with more Delta Force Rise Series EMEA. It's day 2, week 4 of group stage. And as we see our players getting ready, it's the final showing of groups A and D, some fighting for survival to qualify for the survivor stage next weekend, and others, Ben, just wanting to be at the top.
Yeah, and as the top teams we really saw excelling in that game, I guess you shouldn't be too surprised about that. DE getting a huge amount of points on the board, and with their supply points there as well, 5 supply points. A little bit surprised they got so much out. So 12 squad points ready from game 1 is massive. NBA getting 7, also very important for them. And then 5 for Fnatic, 3 for FPOV, and Gotaga with 2, LFS with 2. Those points will come in very handy, especially if we don't get a double Mandelbrick win today, right?
That is actually really true. I mean, we've seen a lot of Game 7s on the EMEA side of things as we look at our map rotation. Friendly reminder, it was Dark Entities that did exceptionally well on that round 1-0 dam. For Gotaga, the first team to go out, Brakkesh, now that we've got a Mandelbrick in play, time to throw it on the line. Gotaga did bring in that Luna, so they will not have a Luna here. But when you think about what we see for Brakkesh, it's a lot of those Allurus, especially if you're going to use the decode over on the Royal Museum side of things. You want the composite incendiaries to kind of section off some of those doorways. Raptor coming out. Gizmo with a 13% pick rate, even Toxic at 18, but it really is the shining star of your engineer players, Ben.
Yeah, Uluru, a bit of a classic for Brakkesh, like you said, gets used very heavily, useful in those sort of tight areas where you're decoding. A lot of the time on this map, you normally end up in that museum. You can see that museum in between the two red spawns, the tier 1 spawns. So there's only certain teams that can get the tier 1 spawn, and the only real rule for these spawns is if you had a tier 1 spawn last game, then you can't have a tier 1 spawn the next game. That's pretty much how it goes. So you can see LFS, Gotaga, Fnatic, and Mandelbrick Addiction. They're on the line for our tier 1s for this Brakkesh game.
Honestly, your goal is if you get the new Tower of Babel, which is technically a tier 2 spawn, you're going to be late to whatever is going on with the Mandelbrick. Tier 3 spawns up on the northeastern and northwestern side of things, they can rotate down to the Royal Museum pretty quickly, but usually it's going to be whoever gets that tier 1 spawn of things that runs in, takes to whichever decoding station, and then you'll start to see some things changing hands. Speaking of changing hands, guys, here's the deal. I got some more giveaways for you before we jump into our round 2 Brakkesh. Watch your screen. It's going to pop up for a redeemable code to unlock that SR 3M Combat Ready. Make sure to redeem it as soon as it appears, okay? It just appeared like 5 seconds ago. And activations are limited. This one's got 25 redeems though, so hopefully one of y'all get it. If not, you've got America's later on today and one more chance to round out our group series tomorrow.
You've got to get that typed in quick. There's some keyboard skills coming on the line to get that one in. And beat everyone else, I'm sure. But we are about to jump into Brakkesh Game 2 of the final weekend of the group stages for EMEA Rise Season 1. There we go, round 2. First opportunity for a Mandelbrick. Who's going to take it, if anyone? You know, sometimes it just goes unchecked.
Sometimes, but for Fnatic and NBA, with those tier 1 spawns, you can see Dark Entities and LFS get the technical tier 3 spawns up to Zero Town, Osira Camp. Dark Entities already starting to carve their way. Stickinson and Even over at Blue River Hotel. When you look towards the new Tower of Babel, hello, we're already having some fights. Rabel's down.
Yeah, there was NBA just picked a knock straight away on Fnatic as Rabel ran through the arch there, and they've pushed this right back. Well, they're sort of controlling the Mandelbrick area at the moment. They may decide not to go out and just take the brick and go back inside here. They should pretty much have a free grab and then straight onto the decode. So that's a really good start. I mean, that's just about the quickest knock I think you're likely to see in this kind of format.
Well, I mean, NBA pick up the Mandelbrick immediately. And here's the deal. Between Dark Entities and Mandelbrick Addiction, who are both playing here today, of course, they have 5 Mandelbricks throughout our group series. So we're tied at the top alongside, I will throw in Genius in the mix, who's not actually playing here today. But whoever comes out on top of this and gets more bricks will be technically the leader of who's achieved the most Mandelbricks out of the EMEA side of things.
Yeah, really interesting point there as we see another Fnatic knock. That's James taken down by Skyty. Skyty we've seen get a huge amount of kills throughout the event so far. They're going to walk back down into the basement. And again, I wonder if NBA probably will decide to be a little bit cautious here and just hold that brick rather than overextend here. If they try and push that fight into the basement and take a knock, then your Mandelbrick is going to be left unattended. And the Mandelbrick is everything, right? This isn't pubs. You need a Mandelbrick. Another knock here. Max are taken down by Folerate. He's on it again.
It's really tough, especially with Gotaga just trying to get out of the south side of Brakkesh. So knowing that Gotaga spawned in the new Tower Babel on that eastern side leaves FPOV down there to loot and immediately goes up. Instead, Nox has one of those lure ults, full sending him. Vladid down. Maxa fold can be pulled back. When you have one player left and knowing that Gotaga did not have the best day yesterday, kind of vibed in mid-pack, fell first in our zero dam here today, and we cannot go out first on our first Mandelbrick round. Meanwhile, guys, NBA, we're decoding. And come on, we just need a little bit of life alert for Gotaga. Help me, I've fallen and I can't get up.
It's 2.5 minutes. Just 2.5 minutes on that decode for NBA. That was tough for Gotaga, wasn't it? They were sort of saying they're expecting the push to come in from DE, but DE was so far back, they've decided not to do that, as you can see on the map. So they'll take the kill, and Gotaga should get back up to a full contingent here. I think they'll do that without trouble, unless, I mean, DE might be sending another rocket over their way in just a moment if they don't get these revives done quickly. Yeah, 2 minutes, so we see bit of action now. LFS, they're moving into the museum area. Can see all sorts of colored teams on the map there, so yeah, people are closing in. They're seeing that decode and they want to get on it. You want to get this first brick, get the momentum, and that momentum is very much in NBA's favor at the moment.
It is true, right? I mean, the Dark Entities with that tier 3 spawn did inevitably move down to Asura camp, and that they kind of stayed there, even with the decode going off. So I would imagine they want to make their presence known, but it's already so compacted here on the museum side of things. And with NBA at 1 minute 30 seconds, will LFS, in a must-win kind of day for them here on the group series, immediately putting out some of that recon to the side. And there you go. Looking for the lay of the land and how NBA is set up to defend the brick.
Just checking there if that room was free with the safes there. They'll probably move and take control of that. There's only a minute pretty much on the decode here as Skyty is dropped there and going to be trying to revive. Tough spot on this balcony. It's kind of the point you normally control from, but you get so much util on there. It's absolutely brutal. And there's something we just didn't mention in the beginning. No Tempest on this, right? Not a single Tempest brought out to this Mandelbrick game. They're all saving them for Space Cities. That's an interesting thing to see. As DE, they're moving up to get friendly with NBA as well here.
That's true. Come on, homies. Let's get you up on the lift. Let's make a siege. Not sure if NBA was able to pick up Skyty. No, still a duo. And LFS did move into the hallway. However, no one has hopped the decode until we see Imperator going for the C's, gets it. And now for Dark Entities, back onto the lift, still playing through Fnatic, who have been kind of here. Took a couple of knocks at the beginning, but have since stabilized, and it's Raid Bull holding the window, looking for the people back on this balcony.
Yeah, they are in that balcony fight. This is Baldo from NBA trying to put some shots back. Skyty is down again. I think they got the revive and then instantly knocked back. So it's not too good for Skyty. They're the only team with anyone down at the moment as the AWM picked up by Gotaga there. They've grabbed that wherever they are off on the map, just outside of this fight, not fully involved. And James, our team that were down in the basement earlier, now they're upstairs. DE downstairs as well. 2 minutes 45 on the decode for LFS. I mean, they're really massive if they manage to take a break right now.
It would be huge, right? Elsewhere, they're finding some reds, getting those into their safe box and working on getting their profits up. Gotaga is just south of Asura camp, in which that airdrop did drop there. So maybe some angles that they can snipe from. But for now, it's all about this close range combat. NBA down to a solo. It's going to be really difficult for them to recover when everyone is targeting them.
That was Stickinson putting the Uluru ult, the guided rocket in there on NBA. That got the full on Skyty, and that'll be second full for Skyty, so he's out. They can't get him back. And that is the wipe. James from Fnatic moving in with the Spideys. And that is, yeah, NBA taken out of this game. It's such a good start for them, but no brick for NBA today. Well, for this game.
That's tough for NBA, but that's okay. Plenty of more brick rounds later once we see Space City. For now, Gotaga back from the southern side of Asura camp looking to get in. Maxa on the Uluru. We're going to line it up. We're going to thread the needle. We're going to find some damage. No, not too much. For Vladid, on the other hand. Close range combat. We're just waiting for the fire to go away. We could potentially peek.
Yeah, Gotaga now on that outside edge, fighting up through the elevator, trying to get control. It's still LFS with the brick at the moment. They got 1 minute 20. They have everyone still remaining, as we see Fola right here watching. This is Raid Bull on fire, down on low HP. That's a sneaky angle from Imperator here on FBOV. Does pick up the knock on Obsess. And defend that brick still.
All right, Vladid biding their time. I mean, they know they're here, so it's a little bit of a util spam. LFS, less than a minute to go, bringing out the Uluru vibe here. Like this angle. We know what it takes to hop the decode here. Some teams are going to start making their presence known once it gets to 30 seconds, but will it be too little too late? Composite Incendiary out is going to block that hallway. Fnatic could be a team to move in. Raptor's going to go ahead and scout. Raid Bull, but still, even. Just at bay, thanks to those Allurus doing the work.
They've got great position here, LFS. Yeah, they had 2 to the north, but we do see Raid Bull move in now. They're not able to cover that because that Uluru fire pushed them back. Yeah, stick watching from the south because you can grab the brick from the other side, from on top of the railing there. But Fnatic grab it, go back out to the balcony. 3 minutes on the decode. Obviously that decode timer dropping down as the Spideys run out onto the elevator, but taken down. Love seeing them just scampering around everywhere. Fun addition to the game, Gizmo. It's yeah, it's been fun to see.
It is really quite nice, but for Folare, he's holding this angle, waiting for Fnatic to peek through. Bane and Raid Bull not going to inch, not going to give any information away. Gotaga has been outside with this lift working. They're constantly having to pull their resources over here to not get sieged from that side. Because the moment that happens, they do get the decode. It's about 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. A lot of time to play here.
Yep, almost down to 2 minutes, but 9 minutes nearly on the match clock, so plenty of time for it to go back and forth between our different teams. The helicopter causing a nuisance, as it often does. Vladid there from Gotaga getting killed, getting a knock on Raid Bull. Sitting on that little corner of the elevator, see players sitting there all the time. There's always battles going on as LFS grab the brick back. And they've still got really good control of that whole side of Museum, really. They haven't got anyone kind of counting them from behind. Everyone else is fighting on the other side. So that's really useful for the LFS guys.
And we haven't really been talking about FPOV. Now, they've kind of been playing really conservative here as you see the full come through on Bane. It's Gotaga Nox that gets the drop on him, and Folare does do the finishing touch to it. But with Fnatic down to a solo, Jame on your screen, half health, just going through it immediately, putting down some resources, but where you have found yourself is just not in a good spot. Prone, healing.
Now 1 kill on the board for Fnatic and just 1 player remaining. No chance of any revives coming through at this point with the chaos in the museum, so that is going to be tough. And as you say, FPOV, they've been lurking in the shadows. Gotaga been a little bit busier trying to push in there. LFS still with 3 up. DE still with 3 out. They kind of went and checked out for a minute. I'm sure we'll see them pop back in soon. It's only just over a minute here, and we've seen it trade a few times. I think the next swap is going to be maybe 2 minutes, I think, for the decode. Interesting to see who goes for that next.
Moment of calm here as a minute hits the clock for LFS, and you see this area where Gotaga and essentially DE have been trading places. Only teams of 3, Gotaga, FPOV, LFS, and DE. LFS must win. Like we said, if they start things off with a Brakkesh brick here, it would be phenomenal for their last day showing. But Dark Entities, the consistency of this squad, they just got to get through Gotaga first.
Big knock there, and the fall as well. And they lost another, I think, there during that from, 2 hits. The rocket came in from Uzbishka as well. Great play from D. They actually took down 2 members of Gotaga. Just 15 seconds on the clock there. You can see Yersai trying to take it from behind, but nicely defended. No, Obsess gets him back. Great counts from FPV. They're going to get it. No,
wait.
So close. The decode. 5 seconds here.
Stop!
And they got it just. The FPV, they've lost a member.
Imperator straight bullet stuffs Yersei with a second to spare. You see the fact that the resources are connecting. The utility is going through. It's pulling him off the decode. We're down to 10 seconds, and LFS was trying to hold on. But look at the decode here. A minute 30 back. Just under 6 minutes on the match timer for Brakkesh, and Dark Entities is still healthy, fresh off that fight from Gotaga on the balcony. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna grab the decode.
Looking very good for DE here. You can see they haven't picked up a single thing yet. 0 profits, but they won't be bothered by that because they're currently the only team with 3 up. I'd say that FPV do get their res. I don't think LFS will get theirs because Stickinson was down on the brick. We saw that carnage there, that fight for it. FPOV did manage to block the deco from LFS. They were so close to grabbing the brick. It would have been crucial for them, but they didn't do it. FPV grabbed it, LFS grabbed it straight back, and then DE said thank you very much. So FPV and DE, they got the numbers advantage here.
They truly do. But time is starting to be in favor of DE here. Couple of reds in the safe box, moving things around. Love to see it. For Fnatic, however, this is what I'm keeping my tabs on. Full Array, Prone, FPOV have made their presence known, but this is where you've really got to kind of use that Raptor to find out where DE has positioned themselves. LFS down to a duo. Stickinson on the ground. Not res just yet. I don't know if we're going to be able to make that happen with the chaos here, but Vishka on the back line.
10 seconds on the decode here. FPV got a knock there on Folaray and the finish, so it's great work, but they need to get the brick. They're fighting on it. 4 seconds. Are they going to get it? No, they're not going to grab it. DE are going to take the first brick today. Huge work for DE. They're fighting to get in the top 2 to get straight to the grand finals day. And they got a bunch of kills as well. They got 5 on the board, but only Uzbishka left up for Dark Entities right now.
It's a big day for Folaray, right? A ton of kills in that map 1 of Zero Dam, on to 3 thus far. LFS eliminated. And now they're essentially just going to clean out the museum. What a terrible day to be in this museum unless you're Dark Entities. Uzbishka last standing. On to 6 total kills for Dark Entities plus their Mandelbrick. FPOV, still a team of 3, and FNC, a solo.
Just such a good molly there, straight onto Obsessed. Unbelievable molly from Uzbishka there with the Uluru. Sorry to interrupt, it's just astonished by that. And 7 kills there for DE now. They're just absolutely slaying. Were they at 8 in game 1, right? 7 in game 2 so far, and the brick.
A dang good day for Dark Entities. Come on, my man. Let's get you back up. Jame down there on the low side. Oh, we're going up the stairs. Ain't no way. We're going to take this fight. You kind of have to. You got less than 3 minutes. You might as well get some assets from it the moment he hops the reset. Go, Spiders, go.
Fnatic trying to get some extra points and another one. Oh my god, straight to the face there from Uzbishka. I'm not sure the res is going to come off here, but you know, I think he's smelt blood. I'm going to go for some more kills. 7's not enough. He's got 4 all on his own here. So he's going to be fighting Jame 1v1.
He's like, 1v1 me, you won't. You already, like, literally threw all of your util at me for this. Meanwhile, Blake on your screen knows there's something going on here in the museum still. We've heard it. And there you are. Jame, waiting for that cooldown to go back as he starts kind of pulling those things down. But instead, Uzbishka says, I don't need you till I've got a gun, and I'm going to take another kill on 2-5 for the match 2 in Brakkesh. This is crazy work out of him.
Clearly, Uzbishka didn't want to be outdone by Folaray, getting 6 in game 1, already up to 5 for himself in game 2 now. FPOV, they got all their members up. We've got 1:45 on the clock. There's not really too much for FPOV to do here other than try and pick up 1 more kill point against DE. And Uzbishka is going to be doing his very best to stop that. We'll see what he does with his util this time. Got a molly ready, nearly 2.
Oh, do it. Do it. If you all individually peek him, that's wild. Blake's gonna have to have Yurse's back. Immediately throws that, hits the jump. And just like that, Uzbishka's gonna fall here, but could have had it. Let's go ahead and check in with your side from FPOV.
The word I would use to describe us is probably relentless. No matter what happens in the game, we will always keep applying the same pressure until the final moment and just try to play our game in the best possible way.
Okay. You love to hear it. Relentless. Doesn't matter what's going on in the game. We're just going to keep on pushing, and FPOV does exactly that.
100%. I think that's exactly what they were doing that game. They didn't get the brick in the end, but we saw them piling onto that brick as it was going down to DE at the wire there. FPV were all over that, trying to do everything they could. They weren't sitting back and hoping another team would do it. So, you know, they tried. It didn't work out, but great work from them. They picked up 5 kills there, so that could prove useful if they're able to get themselves a Mandelbrick later on. FPV, one of those teams playing today that's sitting near the bottom of our table. It's FPV, remember, Fnatic and LFS, they're fighting to get themselves out of the relegation spots. LFS are down the bottom there, and then FPOV above them and Fnatic above them. So any points today that FPOV and Fnatic are going to get are going to be absolutely vital for their survival.
And I think this is where things start to get a bit scary, right? As we wrap our first Mandelbrick round on Brakkesh, and with Dark Entities immediately grabbing that Mandelbrick. Now, sure, there was a bit of a scuffle, right? But at the end, that consistency has reigned supreme for DE. And if we're going into win condition onto Space City for DE, ooh, that is tough, especially if you're on the cusp of potentially facing relegation here with Uzbishka and co playing like they are. We could see a 4 or 5 game series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, DE are looking very much on form. We talked about it during the intro, right? That they've been on form over the last several matches, getting second places and first in all of the games they've played. And there's absolutely no surprises there. Another 8-kill game for Dark Entities, 2,000 damage for the boys. And we're going to see 5 dropped by Uzbishka. We saw most of those at the end there. FLOORPOV grabbing another 3. That's 8 on the board for them. FPOV grabbing themselves 5, 3 for LFS. And a couple there for some of the other teams as well. 5 for Uzbishka, 3 for FLOORPOV, 3 for Stickinson again. Stickinson always fighting. They didn't manage to get the brick again, unfortunately, though.
Ooh, but LFS was making a valiant effort to get that brick. Back to our top damage dealer is Bishka, 1.4k. Dang, dude is frying when it comes to just keeping that damage output so high. And Flarik there with 5 assists. Massive considering, you know, getting those assists is just as important as the kills themselves. You are allowing your teammates to be incredibly efficient. And speaking of efficient, James there with almost $1 million in assets.
A good amount taken home. 1,400 damage for our damage leader of the EMEA region so far, Uzbishka. And, you know, DE have turned up today looking like they got a point to prove, right?
Yeah, they really do. But on the other side of things, I'm needing LFS, right? Standard out showing there in that Brakkesh round. Space City is going to be everything for them. But Ben, before we cut to a quick break, I need you to lay it on the line. We're going to Tide Prison. It's kind of that eco round before everything. It's like the beginning of the end. If you're finding yourself on the outside and looking in, potentially facing relegation, what do we do on Tide Prison?
Well, an outside.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that, it's an absolute sweat. This, and Illich's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
Hi, I'm Yursai. I'm the IGL for Team FLOORPOV. So I first heard about Delta Force through my IRL friends. So that was basically how I heard about it. And after I tried it out, I joined the gameplay immediately. And it quickly became a main competitive game. So the team consists of, we're 5 players on the team. Obviously me, I'm the IGL. We also got Blake as our support. His role is to keep the team together, and there's a lot of the work that enables me and Obsess to do our job, we can say. Obsess is our main fragger, and his job is to create space and win key fights. We also have 2 subs in MX, KX and Robo, and they've been a huge part of our preparation before Pro League, helping us practice and always being ready to step in when needed. So our last qualifier was definitely chaotic. I think in round 7, we had a really chaotic moment where we eliminated 2 teams inside of classroom and test range. And we also knew that we were winning on points and that both teams were then was contesting us. But it was a lot of chaotic in the heat of the moment. We had 3 teams surrounding us. We had especially Blake. He was extremely screaming about taking the brick and double bricking while we were trying to like get him out of it, and the comms got heated. There was a lot of pressure, but it was really stressful, but we luckily managed to recover the situation and close the game out. And looking back at it, it's funny now, but during the game my heart rate was definitely up. So we have a few things we've been practicing, but I don't really want to disclose it now, or else there wouldn't be any secrets before the league starts. So I think my team, FLOORPOV, will be in the top 5 this tournament. I think we have improved a lot recently, and we have some good things planned coming up for the tournament as well.
The enemy got the Mandelbrick. Find it. Stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. There it is.
Welcome back, y'all. The Delta Force Rise series over on the EMEA side. Last showing here for Group A and D. But honestly, Dark Entities, they're showing out, Ben. It's phenomenal to see.
D have definitely shown up. A huge amount of kills for them and a Mandelbrick. And that's going to be making them feel very confident going into the next game. There you can see the squad points already 23 after game 2. And a brick is absolutely dominant. I mean, one of the most dominant, I think, first 2 games we've probably seen so far in this region. 15 kill points already. Everyone else way behind there. So even if one of these teams grabs another brick now, they're still going to be sitting firmly behind DE.
Yeah, that is definitely something to consider as we move into Tide Prison. And prior to that break, I was like, those teams that are on the cusp of facing relegation here in Season 1, you have this moment to kind of reset and change the narrative before we go into that Space City back-to-back-to-back brick rounds. In terms of your operator selection, we did, wait, we're showing NBA pulled in a Tempest early and already used it. Okay, well, I trust the process here. But for our most popular operators on Tide Prison, Ben, we see a lot of knocks.
Yep, double Nox and a Hacklaw is a grouping we've seen. Gotaga certainly running that. We've seen them pretty much every time they've been on Tide that I can remember. Plenty of Noxes. Morse also popular on this map. His ultimate is very effective with the sort of multi-level layout of Tide Prison. It allows you to scan massive amounts of it, and his other utilities not too bad to boot. You can see how Prio spawns there. Fnatic and NBA got it in game 1. That means they can't get it in this game. They'll be pretty happy about that, right? Because you don't really want the Pro spawn in this match because it means you won't get one on Space City when we have a Mandelbrick next.
Ooh, and that's where things are going to get really interesting. Mind you, in the last Group A and D matchup, we did have Dark Entities with the win on the overall day. They took back-to-back bricks in games 4 and 5, and they're already going into game 4 with win condition unlocked. However, y'all, we're not there yet. We are just getting ready to get into Tide Prison. And if you're watching at home, or maybe you want to figure out how can you compete in the Delta Force Rise series, well, season 2 is coming up. And if you want to get locked in and make sure that you can register, it's going to open on August 10th. We are going to have that season 2 open qual, so don't miss your chance to compete. Make sure that you go follow us on social media at DeltaForce_game for updates with all things to come. I'd love to see you out there for season 2.
That's round 3 of Tide Prison, kicking off round 3 of the day. And the groups were good fun to watch. I was lucky enough to be involved with hosting some of those qualifying for season 1. And there's some great battles. We saw Yersai there from FPV talking about the groups. They were one of the teams that came through that process and managed to qualify. As we see the layout here, Gotaga and LFS, they got those prio spawns. They won't have them on space. Getting quite close together, but maybe don't expect them to have a fight just yet, because it's normally a little bit of a slow burner on Tide.
All right, let's see. A couple Noxes, a little Gizmo action. Do I see a double Uluru from NBA?
Yeah. Kind of an unusual pick, right? No Noxes, so they don't want to bring Uluru onto space. They're not going to be able to because they've used both of them. Yeah, that is quite a surprising choice. He's very effective for a lot of brick defense, but obviously they've got other operators in mind for that, as Nox has grabbed, I think, the biggest red we've seen so far today, the Mandelbrick supercomputing unit, worth about 2 mil. So great find there for Nox.
All right, well, yeah, that is friggin' massive. Love to see that. All right, elsewhere, Tide Prison is one of those unique kind of matches in our series. I never really know what to think, and it's always the biggest question mark of how things are gonna. Wait a second, are we grabbing at 1.3 mil for FNC?
That's nice. Yeah, was that cloud storage array? I think it's called something like that. But that's a 2x3 if I remember correctly. So it does
big.
Yeah, pretty big, but it doesn't take up the whole safe box. I think that Mandelbrick computing unit we saw, that's a 3x3, so that'll take up the whole thing. They all have a 3x3. Here's we see Yersai shooting down the Raptor bird there. Our team's just moving around doing their thing. And yeah, I mean, maybe let's talk about that game yesterday we saw on Tide Prison as we get a little here from Vlad here.
So what's going through my head right now, seconds before the deployment, I can't wait to play, to be on the server, Smash Brother team, take Mandelbrick and some point and be the top 1 tonight. We have to be top 1.
Hey, Vlad's hyped.
Okay, top 1, baby. Top 1. If you're not first, you're last. That's the Gotaga mindset right now.
That's the old Hat Claw ult being popped. Very powerful. Again, like the Morse ult, it covers a big sort of cone in front of you, so allows you to scan quite a wide area, but it does give you maybe limited information on exactly where players are. But I think given the the map knowledge these players have, they can make pretty good guesses by those cues that do pop up. Yeah, yesterday it's all about fighting outside by the watchtower, right? Huge fight went on there. That was DE that kind of set up that trap, and they're here again today.
That was actually a really disgusting fight yesterday. I didn't know what to expect. Chat was going crazy. I don't know if we'll see something similar, and it's also another large item there with Gotaga just kind of changing hands and seeing how they want to approach all this for DE. Do we see them run it down a third map with an excess of 6+ kills for the team?
They'll certainly be trying to give that a go. Gotaga already got 3.4, 3.5 mil here, so they're acquiring plenty of resources. A lot of that will probably be safe boxed at this stage, but eventually they're going to run out of space, and the likelihood of them extracting is probably fairly limited given how these matches play out. Remember, if you're a little bit new to this, you do get a ton of points, and you get a kill point, and you also get loads of money. You get 800k resources for every kill you get. So that's why you see our players really prioritizing playing for kills. They're not playing, this isn't PUBG, and they're not too worried about extracting, getting that value. They can get a lot more value for their kits and their placement by just going for the kills.
For LFS, had chances to get that Mandelbrick over on Brakkesh, but turn things around here would be smart. For now, Gotaga has their sights set on first place, but teams that need to perform, kind of outlining this doorway even. Less than half health on the other side. We don't want to make contact with Validid here.
Yeah, a bit of smoke was blocking that angle there. You kind of forget how good intel we get on this POV when we can see everyone through the walls. Our players not blessed with that luxury, so they were able to get away with that little cross while they were medding there, just holding the angle as we see the man himself, Raven, biding his time before he gets potentially let out by some of our players at some point. This is Stick getting hit by the util here. They may be triggering that flagship mission. That is a way our players can acquire some resources. I think that's how you get the big gun right on this map, or is it the Lucky Wooden Sculptures?
I think it's Lucky Wooden Sculptures.
Yeah.
But you know what? Totally fine. We will keep going. Gotaga really chasing this down. LFS looting and scooting down the way as they disengage. My thing is, I don't typically get fights at this time on Tide Prison. When that collapse on that West Watchtower area happened yesterday, it was on the later half of this map.
Yeah, it must have been probably 5-6 minutes on the clock, something like that, right? It was later on, but definitely not an area we see a lot of fights outside. Maybe you might see one or two teams fighting near the airdrop if that comes down in that area. Yeah, Sight grabbing a nice little tiny red, little one slot red, so that's a nice easy one safe box. It's not worth a huge amount, but easy to contain as Raven is popping out and just goes off swagging around. The guy has got some style.
Yeah, he does, man. He's hitting like the Pirates of the Caribbean swagger, Captain Jack Sparrow vibe.
Yeah, just needs the hat, right?
Yeah, or even Chainsaw Man. Kind of one of the openings where they're just vibing. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Any anime weebs out there? I see you.
We cater for all tastes here. We got it all covered. It's Imperator. Keep an eye out. This is LFS. They're controlling this sort of central region, this sort of office layout here. This is quite near the lever you pull for the extract, by the way, although it's a little early in the day for that. Someone may choose to put it at some point. Of course, we have the bagless extract. You can see in the northeast there as well. That has one slot available. And our players can take that if they swim down and drop their backpack as well. And there's also the other extract right down in the water, right in the bottom, that our teams can take should they choose. Although I'm pretty sure yesterday, I think maybe we had one player go out through bagless, and that's certainly not uncommon for Tide, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We did get one player that decided to filter out through there. I believe it was Enter who had extracted. No worries though, as we get to about that 10-minute mark. Airdrop will be incoming in about 1.5 minutes, so we'll chat more about what's to be expected when that lands on the ground. Elsewhere, you still do have DE and NBA kind of towards the north, probably hearing each other, but for Gotaga, who really wants to get engaged, right? You see that Hecla kind of giving them some information, but haven't been able to necessarily track them down just yet.
And pretty much all the teams really here, apart from DE, need to get engaged and get themselves some kills because they're really flagging behind, quite significantly, obviously in terms of the Mandelbrick, but on those squad points as well. So definitely, best result for all of these teams here would be just to get a good few kills on the board. One of these teams can pick up, 5 or 6 kills, and there's that cloud array. You can see in the safe box there. Very nice little red. Get some kills on the board. Close that squad point gap to D. Hope the D don't come out and kill half the lobby again, because that's not going to help any of the other teams. And then push on for that Mandelbrick in the next games.
Ooh, I'm just like getting excited for Space City. I'm just put a heart rate monitor on and see how it's going to be, because I know our players are going to be performing to the top of their capabilities and kind of stressed. I'm not going to lie. Same over here to watch it. And also that whistling. Like a horror game.
Probably going to hear those bosses having a little fight between each other as well. And occasionally, we're even blessed with seeing the boss managing to knock one of our players as well. There is the airdrop that has landed. That's going to have some reds in it for our players should they choose to grab it. Didn't look like anyone was really on it at the moment. These players, they want kills. They're not too fussed about a few reds and golds from the airdrop. They want to get their kills. That's what they're prioritizing here. It's their final day in the groups. They got to make something happen.
Man just hit a full somersault and let's get him. Knife him right in the back. Bye, prison guard. for NBA. Still kind of dancing around. Now, I will say DE has been in this vicinity and they are playing small, not really making a lot of noise. See the Fallen Prince Raven there, working on him.
Raven having a real bad time there. It's a pretty one-sided fight for Raven. I think he's gonna go down. Yeah, there he goes. 1 for Prison Guard, 0 for Raven, unfortunately.
That was such a dramatic fall. I'm like so tempted to like recreate it and be like, ooh, but regardless. NBA back onto their POV as they just work their way through this area on the northwestern, checking all the things. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Get him. Get him.
It's not graceful, but both the bosses. Oh, no, there we go. Groth did manage to come out on top. Very low health, so at least will be easy for our players to deal with if they do have to fight him at some point. 7 minutes on the match time, and now we're getting towards the interesting end of Tide. No one's picked. We haven't had a single knock from any of our teams yet, have we, as DE? Yep. Zbyszko looks very firmly relaxed. Maybe as they wait for NBA. You can see they're very close by. FNC, Fnatic, they're up near the Bagless Extract. Gotaga and LFS down near the Wardens area. And FPOV just kind of slightly off to the west there, nearer the airdrop, which no one, I think, has gone to claim yet.
Nope. No one has moved over there. LFS, prone, vibing. You can see over there on the left side of things. And you're just really laying low near that trigger. Or Gotaga. I will say this much about them. You think back to their Zero Dam. You know, they worked so dang hard just to find another team and ultimately meet their demise, but they're looking for those engagements. Just haven't found the right one yet.
They're trying, but it's a tough map to move around in a hurry. There's so many sneaky little angles you need to be aware of, so they can only move through at so much pace. They do have the Hack Claw to scan. You can throw your Nox discs out in front and the flashes out in front to see if you get a connection, but there's not a huge amount of time left for our teams to get some rewards out of this game. And DE, well, they're kind of on the move, but it's very, very slow as Fnatic, they are coming towards them.
DE. There it is. Flare gonna make that initial engagement with Jame on the front line. Down and out. Zbyszko pops Silent Assault and immediately starts moving straight towards Bane and Raid Bull, but they disengage not quick enough, still leaving their back line open as Fnatic starts to fall apart. Now, mind you, they had found a ton of valuable resources as Raid Bull is just on the run. You know they're hunting this down. They're the only 2 teams up here. But for now, Raid Bull's on the move.
Well, that probably comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody that the first kill was on the board there are for DE once again. They've got 2. The helicopter extraction, that's been... Oh, that is active, not been pulled, rather. That's the one that automatically becomes available down in the south, should someone choose to take it. They've got a couple of minutes to do so. It doesn't look like that's firmly on anyone's mind at the moment. This is Gotaga. They're sort of, well, I'd say scrapping. They're just kind of aware there's not actually really a fight here. They got the Morse ult down to scan and see what's going on. This is FPOV. They are nearby, so we might see a bit of action from these guys in just a moment.
We heard from the IGL himself a bit earlier on over to Maxa. Just keeping tabs, looking for any triggers that might kind of give us the signal that you've got a lot of action over here, but they have inched themselves a little bit closer over towards where that airdrop had gone. Blooddeed might make contact with that relatively shortly. I'll swear. Oh, wow. DE looting after they killed some people. Not shocked here. I mean, considering they had, what was it, 8 in game number 1, 7 or so in game 2, 15 total kills coming into Tide Prison.
Yep, 8 and 7, I think it was for DE. This is Raid Bull, the only one left from Fnatic, I guess, deciding whether is there really any value in going out through Bagless. He does have 2.2 mil, so if he's able to get a couple of mil out, that is 1 squad point. If he stays in the lobby, could he get 2 kills? That'd be the only way of getting more value from that. So that's kind of the the decision for Raid Ball at the moment. Potentially might just wait in that area, see if someone runs up. Might be the best option. You know, pick up a sneaky kill and then take the extract as well. As we see DE, they're going all the way up now to the outside.
All right, well, there you have it. Little POV of that airdrop sitting by itself. All lonely. Oh, wait, Flarik, finally, you're here. Let's see what you get. Oh, okay. A little 275K.
Okay.
We take that.
Yeah, three single slot reds there. It's not, you know, it all adds up. They're nearly at 4 mil. Of course, that involved them all getting off the map as well, which is not going to happen at this point because there's only 2.5 minutes left as our teams are coming together. So it's all about fighting for kills, but they can get that stuff safe box. Nice small reds is going to be perfect for them as Maxa pulls out the drones there, gets back up to full HP. Got the disc ready to throw should he need it. And Gotaga, as we see Nox taking down Stick, once again picking up kills. Uvela getting some of Gotaga as well. And Gotaga, just like that, Nox, Vladid, Maxa, they're gone.
That's really just unfortunate for Gotaga. These are one of the teams where you want to hear kind of what has been going on in their performances for Zero Dam and Tide Prison because they are looking for these fights. But as they go to get into them, there's just these little tiny mistakes that keep occurring in which they're getting wiped for Gotaga. Going into Space City back-to-back rounds soon. You have to minimize those. For FPOV, your say. Looking for angles in Skydee and Uvelier. The double Alluru squad here. You're using those up. We come back to LFS, who had just recently had Imperator knocked by Blake.
A nice knock there. I don't think they've got the confirmation on that one just there. You see Imperator just outside of the huge pile of fire. Might manage to get away with that, depending on what util comes in. This is Raid Ball, has ventured into the map. This is our last remaining member of Fnatic. We saw him by Bagless just a short while ago. Decided to come in and play for kills in the final minute of the game here. Still so many players left alive. 2, 3 full teams. And here comes one of them, D on Blake.
Oh, there it is. And DE just steamrolling, looking for the full wipe onto FPOV and get it for LFS. Some big wins are needed, but you see that EMP straight towards the face, and it's even last standing. Buldo, couple HP alongside Skydee, and you can see that Eben's going to want to try and get in here, but with those incendiaries blocking the way, we're going to see a potential reset for NBA.
The NBA picks up 2 on LFS there, leaving them just 1 up. So they've got the advantage there. DE, as they've been doing all day, they're on 5 kills now. The only full team up. They're going to push on an NBA here. If they've got the util ready, then this could be massive for them. And especially it's just going to try to get stuck in there, but set on fire. Had to bail out. And only 10 seconds left now for our players.
See, and Raid Bull dives back in for one more chop at it, but not gonna see that happen. It's actually gonna be Even that picks up the wipe onto Fnatic as Flarik goes through straight towards NBA, and Dark Entities puts up another solid game in terms of kill points. And as we see right there is Bishka on the screen, teching with Flarik, who grabs some of those last couple of kills. These boys are on fire.
That's about as good a game I think D could have hoped to have from that. They got at least 5 there. They got a knock right at the end. I'm not sure they had time to finish that to confirm the kill point. As we see James already run off to go about his business. Skydee here and Uvelier. I love these player cams, by the way. It's been so great to see, you know, put faces to the names and see them throughout this whole Rise tournament.
Well, let's go ahead and see 7 kills for Dark Entities, 1.5 million assets gained, and 1,600 damage. At this point, who is going to stop our S-tier dungeon bosses, Dark Entities, on the day? Because they're looking phenomenal. Flarik leading the charge there with 4 kills out of the 7. But then you kind of dive down. NBA grab 4 kills, and Living for Success, who are looking for some action, do get 2 kills.
Another massive kill game for D there. 4 for Flarik. I think it was Folerate who got a bunch in game 1. It was Bishka who got a bunch in game 2. And now Flarik's joined the party. So these boys are all fragging. It's 3 there for Uvelier as well. 700 damage for Folerate. 600 Flarik. So massive damage by D. I think it was over 2,000 for the team, right? Yes. Stickinson again, just always up there, getting some damage done.
Definitely. I mean, they did get 2 kills that game, so LFS showing some signs there as we start getting warmed up for our series on Space City with the Mandelbricks coming back. But our top asset earners, you got 2 mil for Nox, and that's because you had some reds you threw in the safe box, and not too bad for Bane and Fleric there.
Nice amount of reds to be found on Tide Prison. There is Fleric with the 4 kill points, 600 damage and 1 mil asset gained. Our MVP for round 3, our Tide Prison game, our only Tide Prison game of the day, because next up, we're going to be jumping over some back-to-back Space Cities.
Ooh, back to back to back. And the thing is, with Dark Entities playing the way that they are and sitting in win condition, they could just send us home after 4 games and be like, you know what? We knew what we needed to do. We're looking to get to the top of that overall leaderboard on the group series standings, and we're going to do it in a dominating fashion. But with those Space Cities on the horizon, let's go ahead and jump to a quick break and we'll get back into the action shortly.
2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little. So hang on a second, NL. Look at that! It's an absolute sweat. This. And LG's got it though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
My name is Evan, I'm player for Team LFS, and my role in the team is Assault. My brother showed me this game and asked to play when the game was in beta test, and the game instantly hooked me, and I started to play. Someday some guy invited me to play with Andrew Stickinson, and after that game we started to play a lot together. He already had a team in the past and he just invited me to play together. After that we played one tournament. Our support guy and IGL left us, so we supposed to find the third one, and it was an Imperator. I guess it's our game style, because it depends on different spawns, so we could be a very aggressive team who runs forward to fight and runs to take the Mandelbrick, no matter what, or we can play a very passive to go on Mandelbrick as a last team. Honestly, when I look on my guys, especially in the eyes, I see confidence. Because we know that we can kill everyone on the map, that everyone of our team can take game on his shoulders, that everyone can call a good move in difficult situations. I think these things makes our team very good. Especially for me, it happened really recently when we qualified for regional tournament, when we took the last Mandelbrick. These feelings and emotions I will not forget for a long time. Guys, as tried as it may sound, but you will never give up. You're supposed to play this game to get better and better. And also the important thing is to watch tournaments like this, to notice some interesting moves to get better.
time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to bring up the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. When you get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That knocked them off their feet.
That's so much damage in there. It is.
It's time to lock it in, y'all. We are about to get into our first Space City of the Delta Force Rise series. Week 4, day 2, Groups A and D's last showing. And as we peruse through Dark Entities, getting into Gotaga. Oh my gosh, Gotaga. Maxa, you got a fan on your face, bro? Cooling down? I see you.
Yeah, it's pretty hot for some of these guys playing in Europe right now. I can attest to that. It's been a pretty warm one over the last few weeks these guys have been playing, so all credit to them. I know what it is like sitting inside a hot room with all your computer stuff on and playing Delta Force. But yeah, seeing the guys here, they are locked in, or certainly DE have been locked in. Now it's time for the other team to step up. NBA, they're going to be wanting to fight, try and get to that top 2, and then of course our teams at the bottom, FPOB, Fnatic, and LFS, they need to get involved.
Very true. We do have a lot of French players here today, and I was out in Paris just, I think maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, and I was getting cooked. So more respect to everyone locking it in on the EMEA side of things, because those heat waves are absolutely brutal. But also, this leaderboard, great for Dark Entities, brutal for everyone else. 32 total squad points and a Mandelbrick for Dark Entities. If we close it out in 4, this might be one of the most dominant showings that we've had throughout our group series.
Certainly in EMEA, I haven't had as much time to follow NA super closely, but this is huge. It's normally been a lot tighter than this, but you know, if another team gets 2 Mandelbricks, DE are still only going to finish second with that, so they need to keep their eyes focused on the brick. That is the prize. But 32 squad points, I mean, they're averaging over 10 squad points per game over the first 3 matches is kind of unheard of, really.
Ooh, very true. As we look through our map rotation, you can see it was Dark Entities, like we said, that got that initial Mandelbrick on Brakkesh alongside the airdrop round. As we move into rounds 4 through potentially 6, Space City is where you'll likely see our teams start to invest their Tempest. A lot of Tempest on the board for our players. No knocks for Gotaga. That's totally fine. Most people pull them out on Tide Prison. NBA, however, has had some of the most peculiar operator selections for today, and they do have some things available. They've already used up a double Luru, but our most popular operators for Space City kick things off with that Stinger Luna Tempest vibe.
Yeah, I saw NBA said to use a Tempest. I didn't clock that or hear the ropes on NBA. We'll have to just double check and make sure that is up to date, but all our other teams certainly do have double Tempest left. We saw the only unusual thing there as well was the Raptor being, you know, prioritized for Gotaga. We talked about that earlier. Instead of Luna, everyone else kind of used their Raptors, and we'll be bringing Luna along. You can see our pro spawns here: FPOV, Fnatic, NBA, and DE. They're the ones that get the pro spawns, but also those yellow spawns, particularly Command, Central Command, FLOORPOV, Gotaga, LFS, and NBA. They could also have that, and that's a really strong spawn. We've seen the brick decoded by Central Command spawn teams a whole bunch, because they can just run straight down over that bridge half the time.
Well, guys, here's the deal. Before we jump into our first Space City map of the day, let's go ahead and hit y'all with a quick giveaway, right? A redeemable code for 1,000 Delta tickets is about to appear on your screen. Redeem it as quickly as possible, and then scream when you do redeem it. It's got 15 redemptions available for you, and you can see the code right there. 6DFU. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but hopefully it's probably already gone by now.
Bit of an easier one for our viewers to type in, and hopefully you managed to grab that code. If you're quick enough to do so, we're going to have more coming for you over the rest of the event. But for now, we've got our first outing on Space City, our second Mandelbrick becoming available as we jump into round 4, and this is going to be LFS. They're going to be rushing towards FPOV as they come in through the west gate here.
Oh, interesting. That's going to be... Usually we do see the team that gets the dormitory spawn, which is LFS, go hyper aggro, and they're putting feelers immediately out towards FPOV. Now, mind you guys, LFS was a team that had to perform to the top of the capabilities. You heard from Even there just before the break about what they were doing and what he has to say to people that are looking to get into Delta Force competitive. Like, you don't know until you try, and all you can do is keep trying to improve yourself and do the best that you can with your team and work on that chemistry. Let's see what they have here today for NBA. Okay. Bit of an interesting operator composition for them as well, but they've been kind of doing that all day.
It is an interesting comp. They've not brought a Tempest in, and they've also brought in full gold gear. It's saying as well, yeah, they probably didn't have it on at the start and have swapped it around, which is why it shows they came in with no armor at all. Remember, our players have individual piles of cash in this, so you will often see teams bring in stuff and then drop it and swap it with their teammates, depending on who's been farming all the money for that particular team. I think for Team DE, that's all of them, right? Because they've got so many kills so far today. As we see Fnatic moving in over the employee passage pipes there.
Ooh, okay. Well, for DE, win condition unlocked for them. Fnatic picking up reds. Go them. Honestly, every bit of the majority of the reds that we've been seeing have been at the hands of Fnatic. My pronunciation today is crazy, Ben. Somebody check on me.
I find the FNC, it keeps catching me out. It's kind of like the word with the vowels taken out, right? Feels like a bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, Fnatic.
A little bit.
Yep, obsessed there. And most of our teams already quite central, maybe more central than you might normally see this early in a space, right? As DE, they've grabbed the brick, and that is our match point team currently. They actually had the other prio spawn. They had the employee passage spawn, came in straight over the pipes and got in the middle, and they've picked up the brick straight away. Gotaga, they came in from Central Command, so that other strong spawn we talked about. And then NBA, the other tier 2 spawn, they came in over the bridge, keycarded that, and then came in that route. So you're going to see them over on the south. And DE, just have a little think about where they're going to go here. They don't really have an obvious choice at the moment.
I mean, they were one of the teams that got into that black chamber chaos just yesterday. So do we go back? Do we want more of that?
I mean, we would definitely love to see some more chaos in Black Chamber. This is where it finished yesterday for #1. They grabbed it. We were talking about this game earlier. I went back and checked through the VOD, by the way. The final game yesterday, the brick changed hands 17 times. That's in one game, 17 times after the initial placement.
Yeah, and that's largely because the guy on your screen was playing from the room as a solo that you can see Skydee kind of just come out of. He was literally in the back behind a suitcase and would just full send run out there and grab it as a solo. I think he did that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, over and over. And I think AGARTHA had the brick 5 times. Gotaga had it a bunch. LFS had it 5 times. It was absolutely relentless. I think that's got to be up there with the record decode swaps in an event so far. That was a 2 mil red. Oh, the power battery pack. I wish I could find that in pubs. I need it for my collection room, and Uvalier's got it there. I'm pretty jealous of that one, but it is also absolutely massive, so I'm not sure he'll actually be taking out the map.
Will be a little interesting here. All right. Have we landed on a positioning in which we'd like to contend for? Let's go ahead and check in and see how DE's feeling.
Двойка? Подожди, кого? Двойка или тройка?
3. У меня 3 везде. Это из-за SEO у меня 3.
А сколько у тебя до ульты?
Есть.
Мне смог дали на рампу.
Skyti actually getting knocked there. That was from Team Gotaga, I believe, getting the knock on NBA. That's going to give D a little bit of wiggle room. And what we can see from our map here and from the actions here, I mean, It does look like they're going to try and push this. I thought they might try and move north. We did see NBA the other day in one of these matches make a huge rotation from the same position out to the north and all the way around to the dormitory decode. Kind of caught everyone napping, and they've kind of got a route to do that if they choose to do so. FNC are lurking outside, but there's no one across Central Command on that bridge. So if they're able to cross, that would be an option for them. But they've got 2 minutes to decide this. It'd certainly be bold if they push south, I think, right now.
I mean, be bold. No, actually, no, don't be bold in your last showing. You have to be very smart on every bit of the decision making. For Gotaga, who have been trying to make something happen. It's okay, because DE still has not committed to a decode station as of yet, but all they are doing is getting that information on how they want to approach it. Because if you have to fight to clear out a potential path to a decode station, it's not really giving you a lot of time to make that happen. But there you see it. Bullere escorting alongside Fnatic, joining alongside Izbishka, who's been staring out through the window, kind of looking, and Gotaga finds NBA. Instead, it's Buldo with the first initial knock on to Maxa.
That's going to be a brutal spot for NBA to get caught out there. I'm not sure how many they got in that room. It is, yeah, both their remaining members. So Buldo and Uvalir Skyty went down earlier on. We saw that. That was further up the stairs. Indeed, they are making a move. If they left this a bit late, they might just make this. This is the route I expected them to take. Obviously, we have, you know, the all-seeing eye. We can see everything that's going on. They managed to get out there. It was only really Fnatic they needed to dodge. And now they can move across here. And they should, if they're quick, just about have time to grab this dorm decode. It is going to be very tight, but I think they might just make this. And you can see FPOV there. I think they're potentially reading that, unless they're just reacting to LFS. I think the team's now realizing, well, also, of course, it's a Mandelbrick, right? You can see where it is. You can see who's got it.
Also true. And as it is absolutely making its way towards dormitory, you have to think about how they're going to be able to set up on the defense. They have probably 20 or so seconds before people start to make their way over, because everyone's going to have to be conservative and watch their LOS. You have LFS that's going to be coming down towards the south side of things, where FNC is really working on the central command area and clearing it out. But back to Gotaga and NBA, a brutal engagement over here on the Black Chamber side of things. Case that, you know, decode went this way. Instead, they find a brawl.
And all of this is going to play into the hands of D perfectly, because it just slows down these teams coming to fight that brick. Another nice red pull there for Rabel. Another annoyingly one that I need for my collection room, but that's enough about my collection room. Stick picks up a knock on Yersai, and again, teams scrapping and third party each other while the team decoding is just chilling. And that's a really hard spot to push, as we see Uvalir taken down by Nox there. Yet another kill on the board for Nox. Got so many this tournament. Now that's going to be a 1v3 against Buldo into this little room. They need to get this wrapped up quickly and just get out of there.
Yeah, they do. Go ahead and invest some util. There's only so much you can do as that rolls on in. Vladid wants to take the fight, and Buldo finds himself just unfortunate situation as Gotaga has moved in.
And interesting development down here. By the way, D placed that Mandelbrick down on the decode with 1 second left before it respawned. They timed that perfectly. What we're going to see here, yeah, this is Stickinson getting a knock on Uzbishka from D. They're decoding that brick right now, Dark Entities. But Uzbishka was actually quite separate from the others, so not revivable, and that's let LFS get through the west gate. That's one of the hardest things to do, really, when you're pushing this position, is getting out from west gate and towards here, because you can get sniped so easily. So DE, they're a man down now. They've got the decode still with 2 minutes, but this is going to be a challenging one for them to get because of that split situation.
How do you guard the Mandelbrick, your north and your south, with just a duo? You can see LFS have now made a pit stop over onto Izbishka as they loot throughout, but Fnatic is the team that was coming in from the northern side, and they are essentially kind of deathballing together, staying as a team of 3 with DE, Fnatic, and Folare. I mean, look, they've been popping off. All 3 players on Dark Entities has been. But knowing that you have to see what kind of resources do we have, where the information, where a team's approaching, and if LFS do this right with the audio cues, should move on to DE the moment Fnatic makes presence.
probably the first time today we've seen any sort of real mistake from DE and seen them get on the back foot. So they're not really sitting in a position where they're going to defend that brick right now. They could potentially try and throw some util through a door at it, but I think they're just going to let these teams fight over it for a little bit. Let them, you know, thin the ranks a little bit and then maybe play for it a bit later on is going to be the best approach really for two-man DE now as Fnatic grab the brick. They do have the Tempest. Tempest is knocked. That's no great worry for them. They can get the revive. Stick needs to watch out for his own rocket there. Dinged it into the wall. And that's going to be LFS and FNC. Fnatic fighting over at the moment. I think the other teams hopefully will be joining us soon. There we go. That's Gotaga.
Gotaga mirroring that rotation that we saw LFS take through Westgate. And honestly, not a bad move here for Stickinson to go check this. Little hip fire.
Yeah, great shots there from Stick. Certainly no stranger to picking up kills. This is Nox, another player with a bunch of kills on the board. They got 3 on the board for this game so far. 2.5 minutes on the decode for Fnatic. And yeah, FPOV they're slowly making their way over. They seem happy to arrive late to the party.
See, Nox here. Reassessing the way they're going to do it. Instead, they're going to go north on the outskirts. Getting the eyes in the sky. Sight out some members of Fnatic there. And this is where we're going to have that like game plan, right? Fnatic, the current ones decoding just over 2 minutes. They did get that initial res thanks to the Tempest one going to steal the decode. But back to the duo of Dark Entities who have not been able to recover. Going to be a duo running it out. Uzbishka will not be able to be picked up. Lost cause here. But honestly, with the way Dark Entities have been playing, if you let some of these other teams brawl it out, you could recover and close it out as a duo.
Certainly still opportunities for them. You so often see, you know, whoever's left standing at the end kind of ends up getting the brick. But conversely, if you want to try and wait for that, sometimes, you know, everyone thinks that and no one goes and challenges the brick and it just goes. So it's a bit of a gamble, really, you know, especially when you're taking it out of your own hands and hoping that the other teams do stuff, because they don't always do what you expect them to. And this is a Tempest push coming in from Gotaga. They're going to go and grab the brick here, see what Fnatic can do.
It's like, all right, come on, let's make it happen. Nox going away, Raid Bull the Tempest down. Have no fear, likely gonna get back up. It's Maxa though, immediately pops onto the decode and Gotaga does have it. Now for the setup on the defense, you find yourself kind of stuck between Fnatic still. You want to get back to your team and Dark Entities laying low, still that duo as LFS on the south side. We do know they are on the horizon. But if it's gonna keep changing hands, I'd imagine they're playing it for the long game.
Fnatic not able to stop that steal from Gotaga here as we see another replay. This is FPOV. We said they're arriving late to the party, and that is going to make them even later as Imperator takes down Obsessed. Great shot there. A couple of nice snipes we've seen so far. The first was from Stickinson, I think. Another now from Imperator, both from LFS. Great work from them as Fnatic grab the brick back from Team Gotaga.
All right. Well, locking back things in. That decode time is going to keep on shifting down. And when you're on the precipice of potentially running out of time on Space City and this many teams are still alive, we could see a world in which no one gets a brick here on Space City.
Yeah, a great spot there. Only 4 minutes on the match timer. And yeah, that's kind of what happens when you see someone grab the brick and then sit with it for so long. They burnt 4 minutes on the match clock, right? Just by sitting there with the brick D and then came over. And it's only swapped hands 2 or 3 times now. Already getting to that thin end. So let's see. I mean, ideally, the best result for DE, if they can't take the brick themselves, if no one gets the brick, they'll be very happy as well. But that is Fnatic losing 2 there. They've just got the Tempest. No, they've got no one. Fnatic are gone to LFS.
No chance for Fnatic to get a Mandelbrick here on Space City. Dark Entities still alive, still in win condition, but LFS with the decode need every bit of this. Mind you guys, a point goes the way if you get a Mandelbrick to go alongside your score for the day.
Yep.
Defense has to be flawless.
Ropes dropping there. That's going to be Gotaga running in for another go at it. LFS is going to try and block, but it's tough to do. No, they do get the knock on Maxa, so that sends the Tempest back. They're going to have to wait for that ult to reset, and that won't be ready again before that Mandelbrick is decoded unless someone else interrupts. So that is a huge knock there for LFS, and it's going to be FPOV maybe might be able to interrupt, but it's still a little way away.
Keep protecting the Mandelbrick.
I'm starting to get nervous because with the time as it is running down, if anyone pops this, maybe 1 or 2 more changes. LFS though, 40 or so seconds determining their fate. And Imperador is just keeping his eye on that doorway.
And remember here, our teams, unless they've got intel themselves from who they've been fighting, they don't necessarily know who is decoding this brick right now. So, you know, they need to play like this match is about to finish. This match is about to end. This could be a second brick for DE for, you know, all some of these teams know. LFS, they know obviously that's not the case because they've got 15 seconds on the brick and even is getting on that brick and he's going to play his life. This could be huge for LFS.
And here we go. Gotaga on the move, but 4 seconds for LFS. LFS looking for a Mandelbrick. They extract with the Mandelbrick. It's decoded and now go into win condition. When you think about Space City on the back-to-back, dude, if LFS walk away with 10 points on the day, like we're just literally just theory crafting here because at this point, if it ended and we went to game 7 and we only saw 1 Mandelbrick for DE and LFS, DE has the squad points to get the top of the leaderboard. But dude, LFS coming into this day with 5 points on the group standings.
They've given themselves a chance here. They had a very slim chance coming in today. Remember, last games for both groups playing today, last games of the group stages. So they need to give absolutely everything today. And with that brick, yeah, LFS they've given themselves a lifeline. They also need really Fnatic and FPOV to score very badly today, so they kind of need to hope that they're at the bottom of the table. And LFS really only a double Mandelbrick win will do, but you know, they are halfway there. They've got 1 DE. They lost Zbyszka early and they've just had to sit there and watch, and that brick is gone, and now it's just playing for kills for the next 40 seconds on Space City.
Doing just that. All right, we're locking it in, having some fun alongside it. But let's get some kills with that Mandelbrick. Okay, not what I was intending, but Gotaga needs them as well. Gotaga pick up the knock on to Stickinson, who extends out a bit too far. Now even looking for some crazy flank play, gets found out by Obsess.
Nice knocks coming in from our players here. This is Maxa moving in hyper aggressively. One of our highest kill players we've seen so far in the tournament, and does manage to pick up, I think, both kills on the remaining 2 members of DE there. So nice scoring for the boys from Gotaga, but no brick for them. The brick this game has gone to LFS, living for success. They're right down the bottom of the table today. They need absolutely everything, and they have the tiniest of lifelines now.
Tiniest of lifelines. Look at their faces. Like they know what they're doing. And when you saw number 1 yesterday get to close things out, they were facing relegation and they locked down double-digit points on the group standings and put themselves in that kind of contending spot for the survival stage. But I'm seeing the smiles from LFS. They know they are doing everything that they possibly can to prolong their life on the tournament. And there we have it, the best team on Space City, 5 KP and a Mandelbrick. Okay, LFS.
Yeah, great work for them, and they've given themselves a chance. And even if they don't manage to get themselves out of that bottom 2, it'd be great seeing them just have a good performance today, and they can walk away with their heads held high. 7 kills for Gotaga there as well. Worth mentioning that 5-4 living for success. We saw big snipes coming in from Stickinson and on Imperator. That one from Stickinson especially important because that really opened up DE. That got rid of Zbyszka, who was separated from the other members of DE, and allowed them to move in. So that was crucial, gave them good positioning. 4 for Maxa, picked up 2 on DE right at the end there. We saw those 3 for Stickinson and even grabbing 2. And you can see 1,000 damage almost for Stick on his own.
Okay, that's some massive damage there. Max is there at the top of the kill leaderboard, going to be second on damage in terms of our assisters. Nox kind of getting in there, along with Vladid and Imperator. Now, thinking about LFS getting their 1 brick here, they've only historically had 1 brick throughout the group series. So knowing that they came in and did what it needed to be done, but Raid Bull finding all the assets yet again.
He absolutely did. And our MVP of the day is going to be Maxer. I think mostly thanks to grabbing 2 kills in about the last 2 seconds of that round. Well done for Team Gotaga and Maxer grabbing that one. Very interesting story. I mean, this is such a great thing to follow now. We have DE, who are one team with the Mandelbrick, fighting for those top 2 positions. And then we have LFS, complete opposite side of the table. They've got the other brick fighting for survival, and they both want that second.
They truly do. And honestly, who's going to be able to take it down? We do have 1 more game at least for the tournament day here in week 4, day 2 of our group series. Let's go ahead and hit to a break, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweep!
Shotgun nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the Mandelbrick. Find, stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. They're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. So much damage, and there it is.
Two teams in win condition, and LFS fresh off a Mandelbrick on Space City, fighting to prolong their life in Season 1 of the Delta Force Rise series. Guys, we are back. We are just getting started here. Or is it the beginning of the end for some teams, Ben?
Well, it very much could be that way. We've got the bottom 3 fighting it out today. You can see Fnatic, FLOORPOV, and LFS. They're the ones to watch fighting for relegation at the moment. DE, they're still sitting top. Joint Mandelbricks with Living for Success, of course. But those huge squad points DE acquired over the first 3 games, they actually didn't gain any more in that game there, despite being the first ones to claim the brick. We're going to be jumping onto Space City once again, of course, for another Mandelbrick round. If we make it to the next game, assuming that no one gets a double Mandelbrick, that'll be Space as well. And you can see our operator selection. Everyone got a Tempest left still.
Ooh, actually, now we look at it. LFS got that Mandelbrick without a Tempest and can expend one back-to-back if we should need to. I like that for them. A couple of Valurus on the rise as well. So it's only gonna... Time will tell what we see our players pull out. I'm keeping my eyes on NBA because honestly, I have no idea what they're gonna throw down with Stinger Luna Tempest still being the most popular operator combo there with 63 total lock-ins throughout our tournament. And that Tempest pick rate, we're just going to keep seeing it go up here on Space City always.
Yeah, NBA, I think one of the teams today we've not seen really at their full potential yet. And you can see the spawns they might have. They might have a tier 1 spawn going into Game 5 today. Could also be Fnatic, Gotaga, or LFS. Going to be interesting to see who gets to charge in through the West Gate. We've just about seen everyone make it through, I think, the past couple of days, haven't we? Sometimes we've seen some absolute disasters there. I think it was Team Genius that got wiped through a little while ago, but we are jumping into our next game now.
And before we do that, y'all, if you're at home wanting to see what the heck is going on, maybe you want to play for Season 2, go ahead and get your team together and sign up for that Season 2 Open qualifier. Of course, registration will open on August 10th, which is crazy because that's 9 days from now. We're in August. 2026 has been action-packed, so don't miss your chance to compete and see if you've got what it takes to get some of those Mandelbrick decodes and chow some of our heavy-hitting squads. You could be looking just as good as Dark Entities is today as we kick things off in round 5 with them.
This is going to be DE pushing NBA, and they haven't got any smoke down at all yet. They're going to go for smoke late here. I'm just curious what their players. They've got gizmos, they've got the smoke grenades. A little bit limited on option. Obviously, you'd rather have maybe a stinger there, gives you a huge smoke you can deploy. NBA just waiting for the mag dump, and they can probably sneak in here, but I think they got let off the hook there.
Yeah, actually they do here. We got the Luna Tempest Stinger combo here for DE. They're getting serious. We're gonna go for, since they've got that match point unlocked, Skydie. However, on the ground, if your Tempest has been fooled, things may be getting more interesting for NBA. LFS, who are also on the table with match point unlocked. What are we gonna see here as everyone is starting to move towards where that Mandelbrick has spawned?
Great move from LFS there. That was hyper aggressive. They came across from the central command spawn, one we talked about being a pretty good spawn, even though it's tier 2. They came straight across the zips, heard that fight going on. They obviously heard NBA. They were quite slow getting in through Westgate as they were waiting to get their smoke down, and that just allowed them to get the shots on Skydie. As you say, their Tempest, and we've seen another knock here. This is Jame taken out by Maxa through the stairs.
Oh, dang. Ain't no way this is happening. But that's okay. Fnatic definitely getting eyed down by Gotaga, but LFS also hearing the engagements, putting pressure down as well. It's going to be a really interesting map here on Space City. We outlined the fact that DE is fighting for the top 2, looking for auto qual into the finals next weekend on Sunday. And LFS just looking to avoid relegation. Fnatic just ahead of that cutoff line of the bottom 2, so needing to show up and show out. But as you see, what people have invested here, Gotaga, Fnatic, LFS, pretty much solid gold. DE bringing in the gold ammo alongside FPOV. Maxa already retreating back on that Tempest ult.
Yep, Gotaga grabbing the brick with the Tempest, so that timer has begun. They might find themselves in a similar situation. They didn't have a decode station lockdown, but they might have a little bit easier access into the black chamber potentially here. Yeah, looks like they're going to move down, and on the mini-map there, can't see anyone in, so we are going back to the black chamber decode, the one we saw absolute chaos on yesterday. Let's see if it goes that way again. It's certainly been placed on it very early. We've got 15 minutes on the match clock for our teams to decide what they want to do. Also, just a quick note that Skydie did get revived there, as well as the other player that we dropped. So we're back up to a full contingent of all our teams now.
I'm going to start a tally. We had, what, 17 you said yesterday?
17.
In Black Chamber? Okay, cool. So far, we got one for Gotaga, and they're just about to get 30 seconds done and dusted on that decode as everyone is starting their rotation throughout. Fnatic, we're kind of guarding that horizontal test workshop. Decode are going to have to get their way up towards the north, LFS out towards the west, and you are 100% right with NBA back to a team of 3. FPOV, though, do have to play from the far east and will have to cross to get over there. Interesting for them.
A little bit like last game, really. FPOV spent a lot of time kind of roaming around on the outskirts and playing it slow, trying to time it right to just turn up at the ideal time. It didn't work out for them last game. You know, they didn't really manage to even get a chance to try and steal that brick. They're going to want to make sure they get a little bit more involved. You know, they're one of those teams, them and Fnatic, they're fighting, you know, just on the edge of that relegation zone, so they need some points. They don't necessarily need the crazy amount of points that LFS need, right? LFS basically only a double Mandelbrick win will do. Nothing else, I think, would mathematically get them enough to get out the bottom two. So not the same case for the other two teams. They, you know, if they could get 6-7 points, that could well be enough for one of those teams to survive.
Oh, we'll have to see how this one plays out. But if Gotaga gets the decode about halfway through, and so far they haven't really had any challengers in the Black Chamber, you have to think about what that looks like for the duration. Then we go into Space City, Game 6, and LFS, each map that goes by, like each time it changes hands, I just get even more nervous as we pull up the map feed. You can see that LFS has been kind of locked in there. Same with NBA, out towards that ramp side of things, inside the building, kind of looking on the horizon. Fnatic do move up just a bit closer, but haven't quite invested the time. The biggest movement on the map right now is FPOV on the eastern side, kind of working to clear some things out, and then DE are full sprinting. But someone has to chow.
No one wants to make the first move here. You could even see on the map there, FPOV were kind of rotating around to this sort of employee passage route in, maybe, as we see Max grabbing a star sensor there. D now moving in a little bit closer. No, this is actually the opposite corner, isn't it? This isn't even where the Mandelbrick is, and there's only just over a minute for Gotaga with, you know, just not enough pressure on them. With this stage on, they're going to have all their util available to throw at whoever turns up first. By the time you've recovered from that, you know, that clock's pretty much run out. This could easily be a free brick for Gotaga here, I think.
But the thing is, there's no way. Fnatic do show presence, right? Red Bull initially with the brunt of the damage thanks to the Tempest there, kind of going for the steal. Do not get it. Vladid on the low ground defends the Mandelbrick to perfection. And with Fnatic being the only real challenge to swipe the decode, someone's gonna have to make a move. NBA finally deciding to full send out through the south side. You've got to take that fight against Vladid because he's going to throw his body on the line to get this.
Everyone just snoozing. They've left it far too late to push in and take this. This is surely going to be Gotaga's. They've got this controlled all day long. I mean, these teams are just fortunate this isn't LFS or DE. They could have been walking away with the match right now. SkyT's going to run in there, but no chance of getting in. 1 second left. Free brick from Gotaga. Well, it's not the 17 decode swaps we had in the end game yesterday, is it? Not a single one, just the placement. And Gotaga grab a brick. 3 teams now with a Mandelbrick.
I don't even know what to say about this. Just the stark differential in which we had yesterday in Black Chamber and then today. Which, to be fair, if anyone's going to get it, Gotaga, after having their hands on the brick yesterday multiple times with Maxa just trying to survive. You know what? We'll take it. Karma says you go back to Black Chamber and you have a bit of an easier chance to make it happen.
Yeah, just great work, you know, from Gotaga. You got to be in it to win it. They got that brick early and got it down, and you do see these free bricks go sometimes. So it's always good to be the first one to get it down, as we see Bane also go down to DE. For Team Gotaga, they're probably fighting a slightly lost cause in terms of the table here. They basically needed 10 points to just creep into the top 2. So that's a double Mandelbrick win, which they could do. But they also needed DE to basically score 0 points, which, I mean, that's not going to happen, is it?
No. Truly not for Folare. He's got kind of the sense that someone's below him.
Yeah, keeping an eye on Nox down there. They've already got one knocked underneath. You can see them there, and then Nox is hidden in that little sort of dead-end nook there. It's going to be hard to dig out, but they're both very much aware of each other's presence. 9 minutes left on the clock after this decode here, so plenty of time for our teams to try and farm some kills, and that's actually going to be... That's Vladid and Raid Ball taken down. D getting some more kills on the board. That's going to be useful for our teams, to fight. Now there's 3 different teams on a Mandelbrick. You want to try and get above the other teams that have, that are sharing that with you. And then FPV, NBA, and Fnatic, no brick for them yet.
It's actually kind of crazy. All right, well, you can see SkyD down, SkyD out, and it's Gotaga's Nox finding Uzbishka and leaving him 1 HP. Buldo. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Just be very, very quiet, guys.
Does look like he's aware. Yep, gonna move in and try and get that, but the smoke down's gonna make that tricky. Buldo last one left alive for this team as well for NBA. Does manage to pick the knock on Yursai though. Not sure they're gonna manage to confirm that. Does have to back out as Yursai crawls away. Blake is covering that with the frag. Yeah, Buldo used that opportunity to move away and then get shot in the back by even from LFS. So that's NBA wiped out. They're sitting in 5th place right now.
Ooh, all right. Well, kind of interesting here. Nox yet again looking to get involved. Does expose and a triple swing in from FPOV. Do lose on 1 getting down. But the trades are going back and forth. No Mandelbrick at the hands because it's already been taken by Gotaga. And with 8 minutes left on this Space City Game 5, chaos is just breaking out.
It's getting pretty manic. FPV here, they've got an okay amount of squad points. I mean, everyone's quite even, apart from obviously DE, who have got absolutely loads. They've got 39, and then Fnatic are kind of dropping off the match a little bit. But where FPV are, if they can get a Mandelbrick next game and get a few points, then they could fight for 3rd, and they kind of need 3rd, I would say, FPOV to try and give themselves a chance to be out of that top 2. I'm not sure 4th, they would get, 2 points for 4th. If they got 3rd and a Mandelbrick, they could get themselves 5 points. So, 5 would be really useful for them.
Really would. All right, the duo of Fnatic here, kind of working their way around. At this point, you have to start thinking about, what is most valuable to you and your team. Knowing that Fnatic needs to grab as many squad points as humanly possible, whether that's you getting kills or whether that's finding more assets, right? LFS, you have to look at what that tiebreaker looks like. With Gotaga full out after getting the Mandelbrick, they're stuck at 15. You could improve on that and extend your hold on 2nd place for now.
Yeah, that's true. And, even no matter where these teams fight, end up finishing in this leaderboard, you obviously want to just give your best showing on the day. You want to make sure you've given it everything and placed as highly as you can. Scored as many points as you can. Of course, teams also get kill bonus, right? So, every kill these players get, that's $50 in their pocket. So there's always something to play for with this format as we have 6 minutes left. This is Raid Ball, 2 left for Fnatic. Rocket Launch Extract has been triggered. And oh my god, are we going to see a team actually take it? LFS might be taking it here.
Maybe. I don't think I've seen a team extract on Space City in at least 2 weeks in comp from what I've been. We did not get them in Americas. We have not had them on EMEA this week and last week as of yet, but we'll see.
I don't think I've never seen a team actually use launch extract. I see it triggered sometimes, but the thing is for LFS, right, if they've done the maths on this, then they know that really for them, in terms of leaderboard position, it doesn't really matter whether they finished 2nd or 4th today, because only 1st has the chance of, getting them off the bottom 2. So for them to stay on the map and, try and gain more kills now doesn't necessarily give them value other than getting themselves, some of that extra money you get, extra prize money for the kill. So, I think they're just going to go and get out of there. They can relax. They can start to plan for the next game, right? That's what they need to start thinking about. Mandelbricks, Mandelbricks, Mandelbricks. That's all they need.
Very true. And you think about them preserving their resources moving into the next Mandelbrick round, considering they had invested heavily in it and you don't want to have to rebuy it. Make your life a bit easier for sure if you could just take an extract out. For everyone else, you know, it may not be able to extract. Just let it all break loose in mid-map.
They do seem to have left a couple of players in the fight, actually. We might see Stick and Even here decide to do something. No, I see Even flying back on the bungee cords in the distance there, so maybe just probing around. They may choose to take that extract still as DE push on FPOV. Corner in a little nook here, but they got Fnatic on the other side as well. Three-way fight between our three-man teams here.
All right, Blake. Let's see what's happening. We know Dark Entities is just one of the most aggressive teams in our lobby here. Raid Bull and James. Kind of looking some angles through the smokes, but it's Stickinson from a distance. That's like, hey, maybe I could get a little pickup.
This is James here, armoring up as they get pushed back and back. Raid Bull on low health. Great little dash across from Obsessed, but it doesn't come off. But Raid Bull sent back as well, trading 1-for-1 with FPOV between Fnatic here, but only one left. Fnatic came into this a man down. So just James left to try and deal with this. Does have the gold vest. Playing the Stinger, can get the quick heal. Might be able to get a nice res here. Got the opportunity, but DE, they might choose to come in from above.
Definitely might. Kind of hitting some repairs here, as you see, for Blake. Oh, that's actually... I love the crazy angles that we get. Not giving too much out, and you get the first advantage on that engagement, but doesn't need to be too hyper aggro because you can let it come to you if you so like. With 3 minutes to go, I'd imagine we're going to lose out on at least one more team.
Well, and there we go. Obsessed losing out to that shot from the angle. It's a great little area to use here, and it's much easier to access because of the zip that was added in with the Space City changes we saw. Looked like they were lining up a drop down there, hopefully to get that right. Although that's going to be some broken legs. One of our three-man teams left remaining. LFS also have 3, but they're probably going to extract, and that is FPOV taken down to 1 by D. Look at the health there. So low for Fleric.
And he just holds on, keeps those angles. Even Fnatic says, maybe I can get in there and take a piece of this. Jumps through the doorway, and James loses out on that engagement with Blake. Still on this way. Having that information to be able to scout and just block that, whether you put out the Volt Arrow and Fuller Aid, says it's fine. I'm still going for what I want.
Left on a
Brag.
fraction of health there was Blake, but has managed to heal. D push up with the full 3. He gets 1. Is he going to get 2? No. Unlucky. He was so close to getting the double on DE there.
You saw his teammate like clapping and hyping it up like that almost just happened right there. You kind of cook your frag grenade, get ready to throw it down. You grab the first knock, and you are just a couple of bullets shy from getting the 2-piece onto DE. Elsewhere, LFS still down on the south side of things. We're just waiting to see what's going to go on. Will they be able to leave? The rocket is about to launch ahead of time. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
First time for everything, seeing a team take the rocket extract. They've got Even and Imperator down here. They're taking out the kit, and you can see in the bottom left there, these guys have got the full gold. Sticker's just wearing purple, so Sticker's stayed in the center of the map. Have a look around, maybe try and get some kills, and then these guys are going to be sent out with the loot. Just a minute left on the clock, so we're pretty much wrapped up. D currently on 46 points. That will likely drop down a little bit, although actually, you say that, the other extract was pulled, so we might see D get full extract as well as LFS getting 2 out here.
Okay, might as well. Preserve everything as we move into the potentially last Space City round. Ooh, now that I'm thinking about it, do we get a Game 7 here today? Like, there's potential. We've seen 3 different teams grab Mandelbricks, which leaves us with 3 teams in win condition on Space City, but honestly, I wouldn't hate a Game 7.
Definitely could happen. This is Stick coming in. Nope, trying to pick up a knock there, but they all get out. D are gone, and it's just going to be poor Stickinson left alone on the map. So, I mean, there's a mostly vanity points for DE because of the nature of how today has gone. If they win today, or if they come second, or if we get a joint with the Mandelbricks, they want to make sure they're on top of that heap and get as many points as they can. But just the sheer volume of points DE have got now, I don't think any team can really catch them up unless they beat them with 2 Mandelbricks.
You can see now LFS kind of like going through the plans after what happened there, just knowing that, you know, they didn't get the Mandelbrick code. Gotaga actually make that happen with pretty much a flawless execution. Oh gosh. I don't even know what to expect going into our next Space City. The fact that we had a dormitory decode, then we get the Black Chamber. But let's go ahead. Gotaga, best team of that Space City. 1 kill, but they got the decode, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about in that game. They didn't need to get a bunch of kills for it. They were first to grab the brick, placed it down, and got it for free in the end. As we see Team Gotaga top with the brick, DE grabbing 7 kills for probably the fourth time today that DE have managed to get 7 or more kills in a game, which is absolutely silly, frankly. LFS grabbing 3, FLOORPOV grabbing 3 as well, Fnatic with 1. And you see our team with 0 there. Fnatic grabbing another 4. The kill count from these guys today is just absolutely off the charts.
It's exceptional, and it doesn't matter because it's always like, it's not just one person that shows out for DE, right? They definitely change hand. They could be that power player, top damage dealer from DE, going to be Flair there. Jame and Stickinson kind of rounding out the top 3, relatively similar score lines there for the top assisters. Hey, look at Foloray making some presence. Izvishka there over with 2, and Stickinson constantly showing presence inside the top 3.
100%, and here we go. Izvishka, yeah, with a decent amount of money, as you'd expect, because they're getting a decent amount of kills, and that is Fnatic picking up another MVP for DE. They are cleaning up on the MVP spots today. That was round 5. We've got another Space City game to go, and as you said, we could have 2 more potentially, round 6. 3 teams now on a Mandelbrick. Any of those are on match point. They could win it in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the other 3 grab another brick now. NBA particularly, you know, could be time for them to step up.
It could be time for them to step up for sure, y'all, but we are going to have more action to come. Will someone close it out and get their 2 bricks? Will LFS prolong their life in the tournament and make it into that survivor stage next week? Well, we'll have those answers after this break.
2 members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that, it's an absolute sweep. This,
and LG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
got the Mandelbrick. Find and stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. They're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do
very much, though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
So much damage, and there it is.
The time to strike is now. Y'all, welcome back to the Delta Force Rise Series EMEA Week 4, Day 2. And the final countdown is on. Ben, with 3 teams on match point as we potentially move into our last Space City. Anything can happen.
It absolutely could. We've seen players from the top of the table, or teams from the top of the table, the bottom of the table, and now the middle of the table, all grabbing a Mandelbrick. So people poised all over the board with potential to grab the second and take the dub. Great to see Gotaga getting one there, completely uncontested. Sometimes, you know, it just happens. Everyone's waiting for that other team to engage, and then no one really did.
That is very true. As we pull up that leaderboard and set the stakes of what is to be had, Dark Entities, LFS, and Team Gotaga all with 1 Mandelbrick. But it's honestly Dark Entities looking cracked out over there with 29 kill points, 46 squad points, a massive performance for them, but have not closed it out just yet. For FLOORPOV, NBA, and Fnatic have not gotten their hands on a Mandelbrick. Could turn the tide and bring us to that round 7, in which we will either see Space City or Brakkesh, which Brakkesh technically has kind of been one of the favored maps to choose. We will see here who's going to be able to someone new arise. Do we see it close out here? Only time will tell.
Very interested to see our team's approach as we go into game 6 here. Just 1 Tempest remaining, if that is correct, with LFS at the moment. It's going to play into their hands nicely. And we can see, you know, remember also, you know, these operators reset in the last game. If we get to game 7, you can use whoever you like. So this is the last time that teams will be, you know, slightly restricted on what they can bring in. As you see, Mr. Popular himself, Stinger, Luna, and Tempest, the classic Space City entourage.
You see a Tempest pick rate 21%, but if we do only have 1 team that can bring a Tempest into this round, you will likely only see 1 of them until, you know, maybe we go game 7 in terms of our spawn predictions. NBA and Team Gotaga, fresh off those tier 1 spawns, not going to be able to have those here. For now, it's just Fnatic, FLOORPOV, LFS, and DE with the potential for the tier 1s. That Westgate, though, been under fire from Dormitory. Haven't seen anything too crazy break out. But do we go to Black Chamber? Do we go to Dormitory? Do we go to the Coveted as our players are kind of picking what they're going to bring in? It's time to lock it in.
It absolutely is, and we're going to find out what operators our teams have chosen in just a moment. See what gear they've chosen as we go into game 6, and there you go. We can see LFS with the Tempest as we expected, and everyone else just kind of picking whatever they've got left and hoping it will be enough for them to take the dub. As we see LFS this time, it's going to be their turn to put some pain onto DE, running in through the Westgate. They've got the Tempest, so they can have the advantage when it comes to the brick, but that's actually Gotaga. Keep an eye on them. They got a few shots on, that was, yeah, Fnatic running in over the bridge. They got away with it, though. Healed up. And you can see just at the top there, FPOV, they've got the spawn at Central Command.
It'll be really interesting with 25 seconds to go before that Mandelbrick spawns on in. Plenty of time to make these rotations, but with how aggressive and great DE's been looking in terms of their fighting, they're going to go ahead and survive the Westgate rotation, make it to the mainland, and kind of work their way closer towards the Mandelbrick spawn alongside Fnatic and NBA as they kind of circle around it elsewhere. You see LFS on the map, still in Dormitory, and FPOV kind of on the horizon there.
Yeah, they're actually, looks like you can see here, they've decided to not go in quickly, which has kind of been FPOV's sort of plan of the day, has been slow and steady. Usually the Central Command team you'll see just rush straight across the bridge, but they actually look like they're trying to counter the dormitory area. There is our brick. It's ready to grab for those who choose to do so. And you can see James from Fnatic setting up on there might be one to do it. They've got no brick at the moment. If they could get a brick, get themselves above FPOV, that would do them all sorts of favors.
Okay. I expect this one to be a bit more conservative and slower paced as Uvalier gets absolutely inundated by Util. Forced to kind of back down those stairs, and it's actually Dark Entities picking up the Mandelbrick. Now, think back to our first Space City. Dark Entities did pick it up, spent some time deciding in which decode station we wanted to go to, filter their way through dormitory, and while spread out trying to hold angles, lose out on Uzbishka and don't actually get the decode. So, do we go back to that? Do we try all reliable? And it could be all reliable, and NBA is here to challenge, so.
Yeah, not often you actually see, you know, the fight kind of before the brick goes in so much like this, and they do have slightly more control of the space here, DE, but it's a fight between NBA and DE, and NBA is so stacked up there, that's making me nervous, and Baldo taken down. I mean, they were lucky not to lose more than 1-6 so close together, and not really been NBA's day so far. They've had some great performances on other matches in the tournament, so definitely potential for them to score big if they can get on top of things. But for the time being, they're sitting 5th, and DE, yep, they got their brick in now.
There it is. Decode time kicking off. So let's look and see how we're going to approach this as LFS must win, mind you, okay? NBA guarding the ramp. They already get the knock in full on to Stickinson, and they do have a Tempest. It's going to be Even, who is their Tempest player, still up. What is that recovery going to look like when you have to take the child to NBA? And now Dark Entities running into some issues over here.
It's a great bit of defense from Skyty there. He was protecting the res. They're trying to get back up to full contingent, and this is massive for LFS. They have to move that body and get that res, otherwise they're going to really be struggling. I think they have managed to get away. We see Fnatic and Gotaga just having a huge fight here, and everyone is dropping. DE now down to 1 member, by the way. They're having a fight with NBA up at the decode, and that is bad news for DE. NBA, they've come back in storming after grabbing that res.
Well, LFS do get the res on Stickinson as well. The matter of this game is all about survival, and Uvalier is not letting Uzbishka live. Dark Entities is wiped. The decode now frozen. And as you see, Gotaga working to get Maxa back up and into the fray. You look at LFS and Gotaga, the only two that could close the tournament out right now. If NBA or FPOV get the brick, we're going another game.
We do have Fnatic wipes during all that as well, and that's a big deal because they're one of the teams down the lower end of the table, and FPOV, as we see, even losing one there for LFS, but that is the Tempest, so they'll be able to get that revive pretty comfortably. The other players are covering here. Yeah, FPOV, they can beat Fnatic by, you know, a couple of points, and they should be all right to get ahead of them. So they're firmly ahead of them at the moment, but they need to do stuff. They got to get involved. They've not been super involved in any of the last couple of games, really. You can see them just creeping in on the minimap there, and they need to get some kills, because that 3rd place, that 4th place rather, if that's where they finish for FPOV, that could be huge for them.
Definitely side questing for now, but that's okay. They'll get into it. For LFS, they hop the decode. And if they walk away with a double Mandelbrick day, it's insane, because number 1 had their chance in showing yesterday, and they did exactly what they needed to do, right? LFS need to make it happen, and NBA goes under siege at the hands of Gotaga. 3 teams of 3 left, and 2 of the 3 are in win condition.
Yeah, if LFS get the 2nd brick, that'd give them, what, 10 points? They'd be 2 ahead of Fnatic, and they're not going to score any at the moment. FPOV would be 3 behind, so FPOV would need 3 or more points. It's going to be so tight. This battle at the bottom is going to be nuts. But yeah, if LFS don't get the 2nd brick, that will be very helpful to whoever wins really out. Fnatic and FLOORPOV, that's the other battle here. DE, they are wiped here, but they were just 1 point behind first going into today, so they don't have to get the 10-point win, but all points they get are valuable.
And you can just see LFS. FPOV has got their name on it. You're saying the IGL. given shouts of where they're located and trying to defend from. But when you're breaching that 2-minute margin for the decode, you've just got to lay it all on the line. And they've got the Stinger. They've got the Tempest. They have the Luna. They have everything they need to make this happen as we go back to the replay and see what happened to DE.
Yeah, this is DE versus NBA. And we might actually see NBA get wiped as well shortly. They were actually sent out of the lobby. That's Uzbishka we saw go down. Clearly frustrated with that. They were top of the table. I mean, they still are, but they are not able to take part. NBA did get wiped during all of that as well. So we've actually lost 3 teams now. And 2 of the teams remaining are both on a brick. Gotaga, LFS both have a brick. FPOV do not.
FPOV are down to a duo, and they were the ones kind of poking at LFS while the decode. Maxa, get a Luru ult in hand. See if that comes to fruition as they are starting to get their presence out here from a different angle as well. And LFS spreading, holding. 1 minute left on the decode.
This is very tight. Remember, LFS, they're the only ones with a Tempest as well, which is a huge advantage when you're fighting over these Mandelbricks. That's FPV losing Yersai there. 2 knocks from Gotaga. 45 seconds on the clock. LFS are stacking up on this brick now. They know they could smell it. This could save them, and this would save them. If they claim this, FPV get 2 points for 4th, and they would be above them. They would go above them with 15 points, and that would relegate 2 of our teams here. 30 seconds.
That is absolutely crazy. 25 seconds. FPOV working to pick up Yursei. You only have so much time, and Gotaga from behind the wall. Incendiaries looking to connect onto Imperator. See the hit markers coming through, and hey, you're getting a line of sight, and all they're gonna do is work towards the body, block, defend like their life means it. 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. LFS get the decode. They do it.
That is absolutely astonishing result for LFS. They've done it, unless my maths is failing me. That's going to be a 10-point win for LFS. They've won today's match. They were bottom of the table starting today on just 5 points. They've just gained 10. They're going to be on 15. That's going to relegate FLOORPOV and Fnatic. I'm pretty sure they're going to be not coming to finals. And by the skin of their teeth, I think LFS have done it. But let's wait and see the leaderboard at the end, because maybe I've got that wrong. We'll wait and see what happens. And there is just a couple of teams here left to have a bit of fun, vibe out for some kills for the last few seconds, or the last few minutes, I should say. 8 minutes left, actually.
We'll have to wait and see what that scoreline looks like when we get everything tallied. But to do anything and everything possible to keep your chances in the tournament alive. I'm not a mathematician, Ben, I'm just not, but we'll see how it goes for LFS and FPOV. The only thing you can do at this point, just poke and prod at each other. And even looking for some angles, looking for some hairlines, trying to scalp them if you can.
This is our final fight. LFS fighting FLOORPOV. 2 teams have been battling each other very closely in the leaderboard. 3 versus 2 at the moment for FPOV. Imperator's been taken down, but there goes Obsessed. That's going to even up, make it a 2v2. And the knock on Yersai, nicely done. They've actually got 4 kills on the board for LFS here as well. They've had a pretty good outing. Well, that's pretty understating it somewhat to say it's pretty good. 0 kills at the moment for FPOV. It is going to finish like that. 0 kills for them.
Kind of a tough day for FPOV in their final showing here in the Delta Force Rise Series Group A and D, man. With one more day on the horizon, you get the reactions for LFS.
Так, Кирюх, на интервью ты идешь.
Не, брат, ты пойдешь.
Нет,
У
Кирюх.
меня 0, братан.
Тихо,
Давай,
братан. Вот это топ. У меня вот здесь что-то топнуло. Я не уверен, что это все. Нет, вертолет.
Well, the boys obviously very happy there. They know they think they're safe. They pretty much know they're safe, I reckon, but I'm second guessing myself. That's game 6. We're going to see some replays of the action here. This was even getting the knock on Yersai. Nice tags there. This is when we had 3 teams up. Gotaga, you can see coming under fire. Stickinson picking up some, and that is the wipe. That was even getting the wipe. Just a furious defense on that Mandelbrick. That's what you want to see. Full commit, throwing their bodies in the way. And they did everything perfectly on that final brick there.
They truly did. And now with time to just spend vibing here on the match, you see the send-off. 6 minutes on the clock. I can only imagine what that feels like with your backs against the wall and you're like, I only have one potential finish on how today needs to go, and you achieve it. And then now we just have to crank the numbers and see, like, what does everything shake out? Because not only did they need a win, but you kind of had to pray that other teams above you did not perform to a certain level to get as many points as they could to drag them out. We talked about FPOV, we talked about Fnatic, and now I just want to see how everything shakes out.
Yeah, they've done everything we asked of them and more for LFS, and we might see them extract shortly. This might be the first time I seem pretty sure I remember there's a special extract that pops up if the team has won, like the game has ended. Yeah, if the game ends and everyone has been wiped, then you get this special bonus extract. This isn't available to you and I in pubs, but here we go, a rare occurrence of the unique Space City extract for a team that has dominated and wiped the lobby. Well deserved. Imperator heading out. The other players from LFS, Stick and Even, they're going to be heading that way. Clear it out the map, and then we can see this leaderboard and see where our teams are at. DE also, you know, great haul of points today. They've not won, but they've got that second place secured. That's going to be great points for them with one more day to play tomorrow. None of these teams playing tomorrow. It's the other 2 groups, but DE going to be sitting up at the top and waiting to see what happens tomorrow.
It's kind of an interesting way to be. It's just sitting, watching. Do we lock ourselves into that auto qual for the finals next Sunday? Or do we have to go through the survival stage? You'll have multiple chances because you'll be at the top, right? So you get to play Saturday and Sunday for the potential to get into the top 2 to lock it into the finals. But it's getting so close to the end of Season 1, and LFS with an exceptional performance, as you see Even and Stickinson getting out of Space City. Congrats on the Mandelbrick.
There we go. There is Stickinson. We've seen Stickinson getting so many kills all tournament. He's been up in the top, 5 or so kill placements for the overall leaderboard the whole event. They've just not been able to convert those into points from Mandelbricks until today. I think they had 1 Mandelbrick going into today total throughout the event, and then they've got 2 in 1 match in their 6th match of the group stages. So that is going to be massive for LFS and set us up nicely for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, our last day of the group stages. We're going to have all the other teams fighting out, and tomorrow is going to be all about the fight at the top. But today was the fight for survival, and 6 kills, obviously the best team. LFS, absolutely no question about that one.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty dang good about that. If you are LFS, walking away with 6 kills, 8.4 mil assets gained, you leave it on the table. 4 kills there from Even on the Tempest. Gotaga, though, who make an incredibly strong showing, trying to net themselves a second brick, grab 8 kills, 4 alone for Nox.
Yeah, Gotaga did everything they could there. They got a bunch of points, and that's going to help them, sit comfortably on the leaderboard. They needed a sort of almost impossible result today to get into those top 2 automatic slots. 4 kills there for Even, by the way, from LFS. So they weren't able to convert that, but they had a good showing, and they're going to be solidly, coming into that final weekend next weekend. Juvelia from NBA getting a huge amount of damage there. And Gotaga just behind. 6 assists for Maxa as well. I mean, they had so many kills. Not surprised they got some assists, but great work from Maxa.
Gotaga was the top 3 on the assist leaderboard, but in terms of assets, of course, LFS with that special extract there towards the end of Space City, you're going to walk away with a heck of a lot of assets. So not only that, but your squad points will be boosted. Our round 6 win MVP, the man Even for KP, some nice assets and a Mandelbrick to go alongside it. Well done for LFS.
Yep, huge there, and I think Evan's going to be smiling like that right now. We are going to be chatting, I believe, to one of the members of LFS. I think Imperator is going to join us.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Let's get him in because I want to hear from LFS. Welcome in, Imperator. Thank you so much for joining us, and congrats on your success.
Thank you, thank you. My boys did it.
Well,
I don't know. My boys is awesome on this day. Stickinson is awesome player with SVD. It's a demon, I guess.
All right, I do love that. Now, you guys are playing really good today, but coming into your final match day, you kind of had your backs against the wall, right? You needed a strong result. You get it. You guys absolutely delivered. What's going through your mind after a performance like that?
We've been getting hit in our heads all day, so we needed to get our act together today, and we just did it.
So good to see you guys. I mean, I'd say without doubt that's your best match of the group stages done today on the final day. Is a hell of a time to do it. Just tell us, how are you feeling? Are you feeling elated right now? Are you getting excited about the finals? Because you've done it at the last possible second.
It's very awesome. We're feeling so excited about this match, about this tournament, about this last day. It's our last day on this tournament, the last match. We're excited about it.
I love that. Was there a specific moment throughout your series today where you felt that shift, that you were like, oh, this is our day. We can do this?
Yep. We have small conversation about it. It's toxic conversation, I guess. But it's still working. We have good plan on our adaptive gameplay on this day, and it's all.
Yeah, yesterday you came very close. That final game yesterday, we counted the brick traded 17 times in that match. You had that a few times, so nice to see you get it over the line. And is there anything you want to say to your fans watching at home, to anybody watching, anything you want to call out before you leave us today?
Thank you very much for all our fans. P2, Sergey. Our fans is Russian communication, and just спасибо за поддержку. Мы вас очень сильно любим. Простите, что мы вас подводили все эти дни, but сейчас мы это сделали, поэтому спасибо всем большое. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, congratulations once again on an incredible performance under pressure. We'll let you go. We'll let you celebrate. And I'm excited to see what LFS can continue doing. But Ben, dude, it was a crazy day. When we had yesterday, you got #1 in a must-win kind of situation. They do it. LFS do it today. The craziest week 4 here in the final week of the group series is for our players. But guys, for those of you at home, we do have one more final thing for y'all. It's our final giveaway, right? You guys can win 3,000 Delta ticket game keys. If you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, go ahead and type in !giveaway. If you are over on X and that's where you're watching, just repost the live stream, okay? We are going to announce the winners in chat on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And for X, we'll go ahead and kind of comment down below. We'll announce those winners there. So good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor. At this point, I feel like I should go buy, I don't know, some kind of thing. Maybe I can take my chances with the way #1 performed yesterday, with LFS today as we look at that leaderboard. 32 total squad points, the double brick in game 6. Solid, Ben. Solid.
It's just been an absolutely crazy story today. Look at that leaderboard. LFS top with the double brick where they needed to be. The only thing that would work for them today, and it has fallen into place. D grabbing that second spot, so that's going to be nice points on the board. And Gotaga getting a few as well. And then you see FLOORPOV and Fnatic down the bottom there. That's not going to be enough for them. KD leader here. DE for top kills. That's Folar8 taking both those. No surprise. 15 in one day is massive. Was that 6? I think he got in the first game, something like that.
I think so. It was kind of
kills.
a wild start. Let's go ahead and look at the match MVP there of the day. 15 total kills, 7 total assists, 13.7 million assets, bro. Dark Entities was fragging throughout the day, but at the end, LFS did exactly what they needed to do. But good performances, not only from Dark Entities, but LFS as well.
Yeah, great result. You know, dominant performance over the course of the day with DE getting all those kills, but it's LFS that really are the big story from that, from saving themselves. You can see grabbing a win just at the end there when it mattered, but tomorrow you can see we got B and C playing. That's going to be the last games for those teams from those groups there. You can see that's going to be Alliance, WLG, FLC, and Genius #1 and AGARTHA all playing tomorrow, and they also have a lot to fight for. They're all going to be trying to get themselves into the finals taking place next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? We've got 3 days of that, 2 days of the Survivor stage, and then Sunday, the grand final. Only 6 teams are going to be in that, fighting for the prizes.
Well, when you pull up the player rankings, after 15 kills from FLOORPOV, he moves solidified into second. Nox holding on for Gotaga at the top by 1 kill, and James from Fnatic to round out the top 3. Keep an eye on Uzbishka, though. He's been climbing, tied there in 4th and 5th, kind of respectively with Maxa. And although NBA didn't have kind of the greatest showing here, Skydy's still kind of in the running, but now that they're not playing any longer, we're kind of locked there. With WLG playing tomorrow, will Selen be able to kind of jump up a couple of slots?
Yeah, and James there sitting in 3rd despite, you know, them finishing fairly low down in the leaderboard. And Uzbishka, 15k damage he's going to walk away from the group stages with. And they've got 2 of the top 3 here. FLOORPOV getting tons of damage today, sitting on 30k. And Stickinson, the team who got the double Mandelbrick today, getting nearly 14,000 damage as well there is huge.
That's pretty stellar, honestly. The fact that you've got 2 members of Dark Entities up there in the top 3, we can take it. Where's the 3rd? Down there in 10th, just under 10k.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if you're throwing down that much damage, it just goes to show you why you're finding so much success here in terms of kills and just making a lot of these maneuvers. I had so much fun today and yesterday, honestly, for the teams that need to show up and show out, doing so much.
Yeah, huge match today. I think I'm kind of jealous of all the people sitting there watching it on Twitch, watching it on YouTube, enjoying all that from the spectator view. That must have been amazing for them all to witness, particularly the LFS fans. They got plenty out there, plenty of support. So they're going to be absolutely buzzing as we see FLOORPOV with the 42 mil, thanks to grabbing just a ridiculous amount of kills today. Maxa with 39 and SkyT 37. Also someone who's scored a lot of kills over the course of the tournament. Not quite so much today, but you know, they're going to be very firmly playing in the finals. NBA, they'll be there. Obviously, DE are definitely going to be there. Gotaga are going to be there. So these players are all going to be coming out fragging again next Sunday. And there is that final leaderboard. That's what we expected to see. Have a look down the bottom. LFS 15 points. They just did enough. The Fnatic and FPOV, unfortunately for them, are going home.
The math has mathed, y'all, and that is such a tough thing to see. Fnatic, such a prestigious organization there in 11th. And I do want to give a shout out because we were talking about their fragging potential, right? 86 total kill points. And when you look at players like WLG, that team has 87 total KP, but the difference is they're in second on that, potentially locking themselves in for the finals on Sunday with that auto qual. The difference is those kills have to make it worthwhile and get yourself those Mandelbricks. That's literally the only difference there for them.
Yeah, clearly incredibly talented, you know, players and fraggers, Fnatic and FPOV. They got so many kills, but you got to try and, you know, figure out how you can get more of those Mandelbricks, because that's what's worked for our teams at the other end of the table. D on 38. So they're 6 points clear of WLG. WLG, they're playing tomorrow. So that's a pretty good spot for D. That's going to be quite hard for anyone to really dig them out of that, right? Alliance 25. So yeah, D might be, I think, pretty much secure in those top 2. It might just be that second place or that one remaining spot that our teams are fighting for tomorrow. That's going to be a really interesting battle between WLG and Alliance. If WLG can have a good game tomorrow, and they've just come off back-to-back wins, by the way, then they can grab that other second spot.
It's kind of how I felt over in the America side of things when we had Space Station just being so dominant, hadn't lost at all. And I come in, I see them last weekend, and it was kind of their floor, right? That is the very far. But if WLG can be just consistent in a top 2 performance tomorrow, we should be okay. But Alliance, they are in striking distance to make that happen, Ben. But here's the deal. Fnatic and FLOORPOV did everything they could, but we do have your say on the line. We can go ahead, throw things over, bring them in, chat with them, and how kind of today went for them.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Yersay. Welcome in, homie. Thank you so much, by the way, for taking the time to get on here and speak with us. It was a little bit of a tough day, so I appreciate you joining us, and we kind of wish you the very best, but talk me through the day. It was a very interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of nerves. We knew we had to get some point to surpass Fnatic, of course. We also had to get a high enough placement that LFS didn't go past us as well if they double break, but unfortunately it didn't go our way today. And that's how it is. Just have to keep looking forward and keep grinding for the next open quals and Pro League foe.
Yeah, tough day for you guys today, but you know, you came through the group stage, the qualifiers so strongly before. I was, you know, hosting some of that stuff and you guys were doing really well in that. We're going to see you back for Rise Season 2, right? You're going to get invested, come back stronger, come back, learn from this. You've obviously been fragging well. We were just seeing the kill totals. So, you know, just got to get more of those bricks right, and you're suddenly flying right at that table in Season 2.
Yeah, just have to be more focused on our own game. I think that's what we're missing a lot. Been thinking about what everyone else are doing instead of thinking about how we should play our own game. I think that was the main difference from open qualifiers. We relied more on what we could do instead of what everyone else is doing. So just have to keep looking forward and keep grinding and get better.
I like that. I mean, we've kind of talked about that to some players throughout the group stage. It's finding that balance between other people and your own lane, right? Especially when it comes to the Mandelbrick. If you're not there for the decode and it's, you know, the time is of the essence and you're like, someone else has to swipe it to prolong it. Kind of what goes through your mind in situations like that?
It's nerve-wracking because you have to make a decision. Like, do you want to brute force your way into a team or give them a chance to play for it, gamble that they will play for it? I think in most cases we put a lot of faith in other teams. Should I just went for a brute force instead? All
right.
But that's how it is.
It really has been.
Tough day at the office for you guys. You've taken it really well. We won't keep you any longer, but well done to you guys. Anything you want to say to people watching at home before we let you go today, Yersai?
Just thank you for all the support we've gotten throughout the Rise League, and hopefully we'll see you guys in Season 2.
Thanks,
hopefully, ready to see you guys absolutely shred in Season 2. Now go ahead, get out of here, and we'll see you back. I mean, look, hey, staying positive, they know what they need to work on, and I love that he was already talking about kind of getting it locked in for those open quals. I'll give you guys one more shout out at home. Thank you so much for supporting our teams here today. If you want to play your hand, try for some of those Season 2 open qualifiers. That registration is going to open on August 10th. If you want to find out more information about Delta Force competitive in general on the esports side of thing, head on over to playdeltaforce.com. Click on the esports tab. You can go down towards the Rise series and it'll show you whether you want to look at EMEA or if you want to check out Americas. Of course, you'll get the schedule, what's to come, because this is the final week of our group stages. We were in day 2. It's done and dusted. But if you guys are still kind of fiending for some more Delta Force competitive, we will have Americas happening in just a couple of hours. And depending on where you are in the world, I know, Ben, it's gonna be really late for Americas for you. So you're like, I'll have to catch the VOD.
Yeah, not sure I'll be staying up for that one. That's about 1 a.m. my time, but I know from speaking to some of the other casters and people watching that the NA games have been amazing to see as well. So they're going to have their game to play for Saturday and Sunday, of course. We've just got one remaining. Tomorrow's going to be our big battle between the remaining teams. They're going to be fighting over that last sort of automatic promotion spot to see who goes through. But, you know, open qualies, we're just talking about those when FPV came through those. That's a real hectic experience. I was catching some of those. They had to play so many games in such a short period of time. They were playing, you know, every day, sometimes 2 matches a day. So that is a full-on experience, and there's going to be, I think, a lot of learnings that, you know, FPV can take into that from playing in the group stages here that's going to, you know, help them build on what they've achieved so far.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Let's go ahead and bring it up one more time for those of y'all at home. It's WLG that is currently inside that top 2 for the auto qual for the finals. Their goal is to stay there. They're fresh off 2 match day wins, and it's Alliance down there in 5th place from Group B at 25 points that could potentially take it away from them. Wow, that's honestly pretty crazy. Genius there with 24. Honestly, could, you know, maybe do it. Maybe.
Yeah, it's basically a head-to-head tomorrow between Alliance and WLG there. They're going to be fighting for that spot. And this is what they're all going to be fighting for a week tomorrow on the final day of the finals. The grand final, $60,000 for our winning team next Sunday. So that's going to be pretty nice for them. 30K for second place, 15 to 30, because it goes all the way down to 10th place. And then FNC and FPV, they've already got their rewards locked in because they are down at that end of the table. None of the teams tomorrow were below them. So all the teams tomorrow, you know, they all know they're going to get to play next weekend, but there is still something else for them to fight for, because remember, the teams that are above, so that's what, 9th and 10th, the next two bottom teams, they only actually get to play in one of these survivor matches. You can see the survivor matches there on the 7th and the 8th. If you finish in those next two spots above relegation, you only get to play on the second day. So really you want to be above that, and that gives you the max opportunity to qualify for the final day.
Kind of crazy when we're looking for our 2 auto quals tomorrow, right? To lock themselves onto that August 9th finals. 2 teams that are at the top from Survivor Match 1 will advance to the finals, and 2 teams from the top of Survivor Match 2 from the finals. We'll make it happen, guys. But this has been such an electric day for LFS to kind of keep their tournament dreams alive in the Delta Force Rise series. Number 1 did it just yesterday. Of course, they will be playing again tomorrow. But guys, that's kind of all from us here on the EMEA side of things. Ben, any final thoughts for the day?
Yeah, just another shout out to Living for Success for their efforts today. It's been absolutely incredible. Legendary status for the guys, and well deserved in the end. And tomorrow we're going to do it all again, find out who is going to be coming to the finals, what the lay of the land is going to be, and who's going to be fighting for that $60,000. It's been great to be here with you again, Tiff, and I can't wait for tomorrow's games.
Likewise, y'all heard it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here in the booth and in chat at home. Hopefully you got some of those redemptions that we were dropping throughout the days. Make sure you check in and support on the America side of things in just a couple of hours, or catch the VOD. But for now, we'll see you guys for our last match day, same time, same place tomorrow.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.